So are you really Jamaican?
Yeah. We can tell say you a gangster.
Yeah.
True say me a gangster.
Yeah.
So we can recognize say you a gangster.
That's true.
You think you could teach this for me? All night me I give her some hot. Yeah. Foot in the ear, leg turn over, back bend up, everything. Back shot, everything. Yeah, man. If I met myself, I wouldn't believe me either.
Do you like Jamaican women?
Yeah.
How would you flirt with a non-Jamaican girl, and then how would you flirt with a Jamaican girl?
Honestly, I think I'd go for like a vulnerable angle.
All right, so try it.
Oh, we're gonna do like a little improv?
Just go ahead, just try it.
Hey, so little mama.
Oh, hey.
I just gotta say I love your curly hair.
Thanks.
You like that?
So what's up?
I don't know, man.
Okay, for negative risk.
What's making it tough is the beard.
Yeah. A lot of guys say that. But what about Patois? You might be a little better with Jamaican ones.
Yo, I'm gonna be a bit what you do with.
Hey.
Yeah, I know, say it look good. Yo, I'm gonna come beat up the cervix. See, I went too far.
Gideon, I appreciate you being here, bro.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me.
I'm a fan of you.
I'm a fan of you.
I watch your content. I laugh a lot. I was even listening to it today, and there's just like shit that you've done that I didn't even know you did. That I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite thing.
Hell yeah.
The one that I watched today that I thought was so funny was, excuse me, fake security guard. People just going, yo, where's the Apple store? You go, oh yeah, you just go 2 down that way, make a right, try to suck my own dick, and then you'll see it right at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Bro, that shit was killing me. And then
Thank you,
obviously the thing that got me hooked on you was all the Patois stuff.
Yep.
And so I'm watching this and I'm just like, dude, this is so funny that this white dude learned Jamaican Patois. There's no way. Like, how do you do that? And then I meet you at Schultz's party the other night and you tell me, oh yeah, I'm Jamaican. And I was like, oh, didn't even cross my mind.
That's funny.
I think I'm racist. The fact that I saw you and I was like,
I
you're
mean,
not
obviously
Jamaican.
you are, but nah, I don't think so. A lot of times people will be like, in the comments, they'd be like, oh, you know he's Jamaican. Like, y'all are racist for thinking that all Jamaicans are black. But it's like, it's understandable. Like, if I met myself, I wouldn't fucking believe me either.
Bro.
Like, you ain't Jamaican.
That's a deep sentence though. If I met myself.
Yeah.
Have you met yourself, dude?
Not yet.
Not yet, dude.
I'm a little
You gotta
scared
do
to
more
meet myself.
psychedelics.
Yeah.
And then you'll truly meet yourself.
You'll meet yourself, you'll forget yourself.
Yeah, dude.
Something will happen.
So you were born where?
In Miami.
In Miami.
Yeah.
And your parents, you were telling me like your parents like had you there intentionally kind of vibe?
No, like, so my dad is full Jamaican, but my mom was living in Miami when they first got together.
Yeah.
And she had her doctor in Miami who gave birth to like my older brothers, and she just liked that doctor.
Yeah.
And wanted to have all her kids with that doctor.
Yeah.
So my family was already, well, my mom was living with my dad in Jamaica, but she had me in Miami and then took me to Jamaica.
How do you time that though? The timing of that seems tricky, right?
I don't know.
You gotta ask her about that. Like, yo, like, do you just come over like at 8 months?
Yeah, I
what I
wonder
mean?
sometimes. I
Like,
feel
what
like
if you were trying to be slick and pop out, you know, a little early?
exactly.
And what?
She probably went like, yeah, she was probably there for her like pregnancy because her mom was like still living in Miami, so maybe she was staying with the mom. I don't know. I should get the details on that.
You should figure that out, dude. And then immediately, like, how quickly after that did you move to Jamaica?
I feel like in my head, I want to say like 2 weeks, but that seems kind of early to fly with a baby.
Right, dude?
I feel like she told me 2 weeks, but maybe I got that number wrong.
2 weeks.
Definitely, I mean, I was 0 at least.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how long. As soon as she could fly back to Jamaica.
Bro, how do you even fly with a baby, though? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you get a passport for this little motherfucker?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like, at a certain
good
point,
question.
I think babies are just free.
Yeah, you should be like, it's a baby. Like,
Yeah.
what are they really going to do? They're not going to steal jobs
Yeah, exactly.
from
Yeah,
anybody.
They're not coming
unless
in.
they're actors.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could have a baby actor come through.
Yeah.
Or, like, they're not criminals. I don't think babies really do crime that much.
Not that much.
Not that I'm familiar with.
I've never heard of a baby crime. But,
Yeah.
but
You even say a little patois because you're like, yeah, this is some shit that could only happen in Jamaica. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Infant with a knife, you know?
exactly, bro.
That sounded more Australian, I think. You'll teach me patois. By
I
the end
will
of this.
say now that I'm impressed with your knowledge of patois and your vocabulary. Like earlier, you called me a fish.
Yes.
Which, that's a deep cut.
A
I
fish.
say I didn't appreciate it, but you said it and I respected it, you know?
Yeah. On the one hand,
I
I'm
won't
offended.
even say it for the people who don't know what it means, but you can Google it.
Yeah. Google it.
Yeah.
Google image search it. Go to Pornhub.com and search fish.
Just
Yeah,
exactly.
you'll see what you want to see.
Yeah.
No, that was told to me by a Jamaican woman that worked at a bank that I used to frequent, and she was like kind of helped me like early finance stuff, and I think she called me a fish, and I was like,
Wow.
I was like, what? I was like, what does that mean? And then she explained it, and I was like, it's kind of hurtful, but also maybe I deserved it.
That's bold that she would call you that to your face and then just explain
And laugh
what
it
means.
off. Yeah, I forget exactly the context. I think maybe she said I was acting like a fish or
Acting
some
like
shit
a
like
fish,
that.
okay.
So I think I did something.
It's
that
funny though, because
tipped her off.
you also called me a Batman, and there is a little bit of a distinction, apparently, because I have a friend, a gay friend in Jamaica, who's one of the very few, probably openly gay people I know from the island, because it's a very homophobic place. But he's like the fucking coolest guy. He's like the only person who could be openly gay in Jamaica and everyone still respects him just because he's a bad man.
Yeah.
And he said to me one time, he's like, yeah, man, is it me? I'm a fish, but me I'm a batty man. So he's saying he's a fish, but he's not a batty man. So I was like,
Okay.
I didn't know there was a difference, but
We
there
don't
is.
know the difference there.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I guess like a batty man is just more of like, just more of a batty man, you know? I don't know how else to say it, you know?
I feel like just even the way you said it, I understand exactly what it is.
It just has a little more of a hit to it. Or even a
Yeah.
batty boy, because then it has the alliteration aspect.
An alliteration insult is gonna hit way harder.
But fish is also like, you don't want to be called a fish. In Jamaica, it goes so far as like if you you don't want to like say you eat fish. So people would say like, oh yeah, I did eat some sea creature. They call fish sea creature, or they call it swim around.
Swim around.
Swim around, because they don't want to say fish.
Because fish has such a connotation.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
It's hilarious in Jamaica, the kind of way they will twist around language to not say certain things.
Bro, I love Jamaicans. Oh
Like,
gosh.
There's
this is awesome.
like there's a place in Jamaica called Mandeville, but you don't want to say man, so they call it Galdeville. You know, they'll always do things like that.
Galdeville.
The funniest one I heard was this dope reggae artist, one of my favorites, Sizzla Kalonji. And in an interview, somebody asked him about his career, and he's like, "Nah, man, I don't have no career, cause we not do the rear." I was like, "That's a stretch," but it's funny as fuck.
It's a car beginning. You're like,
Car-
whoa.
Car
Okay.
beginning, there you go.
Yeah, it's a car start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it originates from Rastafari. Like, the way they talk is they kind of change words to remove negative connotations. So, like, they don't say understand, they say overstand. And they don't say, like, falling in love, they say standing in love. And the most tricky one is instead of you and I, they say I and I, to sort of represent the concept that we're all one. But it gets confusing when we're talking to a Rasta. It's like, yeah, man, the I have to go over there, and then the I did this, and the I did. And it's like, am I the I or you the I? I'm confused.
Bro, that is both parts like beautiful and also extremely inconvenient.
Yeah, bro, you summed it
Bro,
up perfectly.
that's so funny. And so you lived in Kin-gston? Is that where you moved to?
Yeah, so that's where my dad's from. Grew up there, went to school there, and then when I was like 14, I left. I went to boarding school.
Gotcha.
I was telling you about the other night.
Yeah. And so your dad is ethnically Palestinian, but lived in Jamaica basically most of his life.
Yeah. So like the basic story is I guess it would have been my great-great-grandfather. So it was like, I'm the 5th generation. My great-great-grandfather immigrated to Jamaica from Palestine.
How long ago was that?
Late 1800s.
Bro, that's crazy. And so your dad lived in Jamaica his whole life.
Yeah, and his dad was
Like,
born.
all the way back.
My father born and raised in Jamaica. My grandfather born and raised in Jamaica, and then my great grandfather and my great great grandfather together immigrated to Jamaica.
That is wild. So does your dad have like a full thick Jamaican accent? Like lived there his whole life kind of
My
vibe?
dad has an interesting accent, which is kind of this. Like it's kind of like we call it like the uptown accent or the upper St. Andrew accent, and it's like it sounds almost a little British.
Mm-hmm.
But he also like spent a lot of time in America growing up because his mom was from Brooklyn. My grandma was from Brooklyn.
Oh, interesting.
So my dad, like, I think went to school in New York when he was like in his teens. So he has a little bit of an American accent too.
Interesting. And then how did he meet your mom?
College.
Oh, really? So he went to college somewhere else.
He went to college in New York, dropped out. My dad would like, I don't know if he would want me to say this, but I mean, fuck it. He was like a drug addict, I guess, or an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing something. And
not school. He was doing not
school. So he dropped out and was just like in Jamaica, just getting loaded, I guess, for years. And then eventually went to rehab, got clean, went back to college when he was like in his late 30s.
Met a little bad ting.
Exactly.
Brought her back to Jamaica.
As we do.
As we do.
As is Jamaican culture. You know?
And then you're born, bro.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. And so you spend most of your time in Kin-gston growing up. Like, as a white dude living in Kin-gston, what is the treatment like? How are you perceived by, like, the locals? Like,
well, I am a local, so.
That's a good distinction. I'm going to apologize for that. Okay?
That's okay.
I get 2 more of those, okay? And after that, I think you're allowed to fight me.
No, you
have brass knuckles on.
I think you kicked my ass, so I'll give you 10 more.
I get 10 more. Okay, fine. Thank you. So I guess how would you describe it? Because you know what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to think of the way that people would see it. Because I guess when people think Jamaica, obviously they're going to think black people, which is not true. You know, in the whole scheme of things, there's Jamaicans that are Chinese, there's Jamaicans of all colors.
Yeah.
But generally, when people think, they think black people. So, as a white dude growing up in Kin-gston, how are you perceived by black Jamaicans?
Right.
And then how are you perceived by non-Jamaicans that are expecting you to be black when you say you're Jamaican?
Yeah. Both good questions. In Jamaica, it's less of a thing than it is in America because Jamaicans know there are white Jamaicans. I get asked sometimes if there's like if I feel like I've been subjected to racism because white people are a minority in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And I say usually I don't, if there's ever been a time where I feel like my race has been an issue, it's rare, you know, and it's never been something overt. I think Jamaicans are one of the least racist people that I've ever experienced. Obviously, there's a level of racism everywhere in the world, but I think they just don't really think like that. I think classism is more of a thing, you know. I'm obviously from like a richer family and, you know, what they call uptown Jamaica. So I understand if there's like a level of animosity towards like the upper class Jamaicans, but it's not race.
Right. And that exists everywhere, right? Like, there's going to be like class feuds or animosity that exists.
But aside from that, they're definitely like growing up, I did always feel a little bit of an odd one out just because if you're a kid and you're walking around and you realize I'm the only white person here, I feel a little uncomfortable, you know, and I was a shy kid. So definitely, I remember growing up and always thinking like, I wish I was black because I'd fit in. I think every kid just wants to fit in, you know?
Hey, even in America, I also think that.
Yeah, well, the black people are just fucking cool.
If you listen to rap music and watch basketball, you're like, I think I was born in the wrong skin.
Exactly.
Because that shit looks awesome.
Especially like our generation. Yeah. I feel like, you know, we grew up on rap music. Mm-hmm. It's like we all want to be black.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was, I think, twofold growing up in Jamaica, you know?
Right. Did you ever have like an awareness of your race growing up? Like, at what point did you realize like, oh, I'm not black? You know what I mean? Do you remember that moment, or was it a gradual thing?
I don't remember, but it definitely comes later. Like, I think it's true that kids don't really think about race.
Not at all.
It's definitely came later where you start to realize and people start, you know, saying like, oh, you're white or you're this or you're that. Mm-hmm. But I will say it was a very small issue in my life, and race, it doesn't really play into everyday life in Jamaica, I think, that much.
Are there ever like funny stereotypes about white people in Jamaica?
That's a good question. None that I can think of, but I'm sure there are. But also there are distinctions. Like I'm technically what they would call like the Syrian or the Arab, like Jamaicans, like Middle Eastern Jamaicans.
Right.
Is like my background, which is a bigger, like there's more like Middle Eastern Jamaicans than there are like European Jamaicans.
Right. See, this is why I always say like race is socially constructed. Like it exists because we make it so. Because like you are Jamaican, which obviously is a culture, it's not a race, but you are Jamaican. And in Jamaica, you are Arab. Yeah. And then here, you're white. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it is.
Even you haven't changed at all, but you go to a different place and you have a completely different classification.
Exactly.
Like ethnically, which is just so wild.
And another thing that is interesting about Jamaica is there's also a distinction between like black and brown. Like in America, like if you're sort of biracial and you know they call you like light skin, But in Jamaica, that's like almost a different race in itself. So you call that like a brown man. And sometimes I've been referred to as a brown man, and that's like the highest honor for me. And I feel it's like when I'll see someone on the road and they don't want to disrespect me by calling me like a white man, like, yo, white boy. So they'll say, yo, brown boy. And I take
hilarious.
That's like a badge of honor for me to be called a brown boy.
Yeah. So brown boy would literally mean someone that would be like mixed race.
Yeah, mixed race.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, we say light skin in America.
Yeah.
And that's brown there. Now, what if you're like Indian?
They call it coolie. And I don't know. I don't think it's a slur. I don't think it's an offensive thing. I definitely don't mean it. I have a lot of my best friends in Jamaica are Indian, but that's the word, coolie.
Coolie.
So you say like a coolie man.
Do you know
like
what that
Indian.
Comes from?
I have no idea.
So
I thought about it. Like, where the fuck did that come from?
I mean, it's a cool nickname.
Yeah, it's cool.
Right? Yeah, it's just cool as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
And then, are there different forms of patois depending on which part of Jamaica you're in?
That's a good question. I mean, there's like I said, like a lot of people would say what the kind of patois I talk is like Upper St. Andrew. St. Andrew is like the parish that Kin-gston is in, and I talk basically like an uptown boy from Kin-gston. And then there's, kind of more thicker patois, I guess you could say.
Like if you're out in the country in Jamaica, you might talk differently.
Yeah, but I don't know if regionally there's that many distinctions between the patois people talk.
Yeah.
It's kind of more just levels to like how thick is your patois and how, because it is basically just a variation of English. So like the closer you get to like the Queen's English or the further, it's kind of more like a scale, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good question though.
That's really interesting.
I wish there was more like study on like the language, because there's no like officially recognized written form. There's not much like history about it that you can find.
Right. And what are you taught in school like about like patois? Like are you taught in school like Queen's English, like British English?
Yeah. In my school there was nothing about patois that we would learn. You get like Jamaican history, but they don't really talk about patois, at least not as far as I can remember. Yeah. But yeah, all schools teach in English. It's the official language is English.
Yeah. And so many of your videos, like you're just going up to people, just like random dudes in Jamaica, and you're just asking them a question, and then it sparks a full conversation. Yeah. Like, is that pretty common for Jamaican culture to be pretty open to just like a random dude coming up and talk to you?
Yeah. I think Jamaican people are some of the most outgoing people. And like I said, growing up, I was kind of shy, but like it's very like Jamaican culture is super outgoing, and like it's hard to be like shy in Jamaica almost because they're so like just,
so warm.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. It seems like there's a real cultural warmth.
Yeah.
That you could just walk up to any dude and be like literally, like you walk up to, yo, Siki, and just start talking, and they'll just listen, and and they'll ask you questions, and like you're just in a combo. What does Siki mean, by the way?
It's short for security. Yeah. Siki is security guard.
Oh, yo, Siki.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. And so if you're talking to a dude just like in downtown Kingston, do you change the dialect at all? Or like, is it just how you would normally speak like back home?
It sort of depends. I'll sort of fluctuate just between speaking, just regular English and patois, just depending on the vibe.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends, like what vibe or like,
Yeah.
And same thing with all Jamaicans. Like they can talk patois, they can just talk like normal English.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're trying to convey or like how you're trying to say so.
So now when you're in America, if you meet white people like me and you're like, yo, I'm Jamaican, and they're like, no, but really, like, how does that make you feel? What is like the energy there where you're like, what are you talking about? I'm Jamaican. Like, do I have to prove it to you? Or like, if you meet like, are there ever Jamaicans that don't believe you? Or is it pretty much off rip? They're like, oh no, you're legit.
Here's the thing. Jamaicans who are actually from Jamaica will believe me because, like I said, they know that there's white Jamaicans. It's not like new to them.
Right.
But like the diaspora or like second generation Jamaicans who were born and raised in America, they sometimes won't believe. They'll give you the, man, you ain't Jamaican, I'm Jamaican, But in Jamaica, you don't really get that.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's frustrating, to have to constantly like trying to justify where you're from. Because it's like, I'll tell people I'm Jamaican and then they don't believe me. It's like, I don't want to have to prove to someone something as basic as where I'm from.
Right.
Like sometimes I think it'd be easier just to be like, oh yeah, I'm from Michigan. Cool. Let's move on, you know?
Yeah.
It's like not bad if you have to have that conversation once, but you have to have it every time you meet somebody.
Yeah,
you know?
it gets boring.
It's very rare that I'll meet someone, I'll be like, oh, I'm from Jamaica, and they'll be like, okay, cool. It's always and even if they do believe me, it's like, oh, that's so interesting, like, which is cool, you know, for them to want to hear about it, but it's always a conversation. You know?
Yeah. And were you ever like, not embarrassed of it, but like, were you ever like, oh, I don't want to do this? And then did that ever change? Like, did that ever change as you got older? Like, do you wear it now as like a badge of honor? Like, yo, I'm really proud to be Jamaican. I'd love to tell people about this culture I grew up in.
I'm very proud to be Jamaican, but it is sometimes I don't want to get into the explanation, you know? And like I said, I understand if people don't believe it. Because like, if I met myself talking like how I normally talk in America, I'd also be like, bro, are you really Jamaican?
Yeah.
So it's understandable, but you know, it's a little frustrating.
Jamaicans,
but I don't really try to prove it. I'll just be like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You see me?
Like, you see me? Yeah.
Bro, Jamaicans have the best nicknames.
They do.
That's like I feel like an unknown like Jamaican quirk. Like they'll just meet a dude one time and they're like, oh yeah, like he's missing an arm. So that's like one arm Ricky. Or like
One-y. They call it one-y.
One-y, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, how does that come up and what are the best nicknames that you've heard growing up in Jamaica?
Dude, my bro was telling me this hilarious story the other day because we were talking about the same thing, like Jamaicans and their nicknames. He went to like get his car fixed somewhere, and the guy was like, "Yeah, man, just go around the corner and just go ask for ugly." And he was with his mom, and his mom was like, "I'm not gonna scream out for ugly." He's like, "No, man, that's his name. Just go out." So they drive around the corner, and they're like, "Yo, ugly." And then in my friend's words, he was like, so he comes around the corner, and let me tell you, this man's nickname was Justified. But Jamaicans, they're just so bold. They just say it as it is, you know? If you're ugly, that's your fucking nickname.
Yeah.
If you're short man. If you're tall man. You know? They'll just call you what you are.
Did you ever get nicknames? So like, you obviously have Gids.
Yeah.
Or Giddy, probably.
It's one of those things where I feel like if you have kind of like a already unique name, you don't really need a nickname because there's no other Gideons really.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just not cool enough to have been given a nickname. But that, you know, Gids, some people say I got Gidzilla, which I went
Gidzilla?
with. Yeah.
Oh, that's fire. And then you were saying before, like, you have an affinity for Jamaican food.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. Like, depending on where you grow up, Jamaican food might not be available. Like, in the States, like, in New York, you find Jamaican food. In Florida, where I grew up, there's great Jamaican food. Like, if you grow up in, like, Ohio, I don't know. No shade on Ohio, but I don't know if they got good Jamaican food.
I don't know. I know some Jamaicans in Ohio.
Really?
Bro, Jamaicans are everywhere.
Do they have restaurants, though?
Who knows? I mean...
They need an oxtail cart or something. Like that should be a part of it.
It should.
We need it.
I mean, it's a little bit, like, less popular than some other, like, ethnic foods you get here. Like, obviously, Mexican is very common. You can probably get that everywhere. But, I mean, it'll surprise you, I think, where you'll find a Jamaican restaurant.
Yeah.
And there's obviously, like, the infamous kind of stereotype about Jamaican restaurants where they never fucking have anything that you want.
Oh, really?
Have you heard this?
No.
Yeah, it's like a known thing. You go into a Jamaican restaurant and you'll be like, let me get the oxtail. And you'll be like, when I have that. And it's like, oxtail just done. It's like, all right, well, let me get the fucking fried chicken. When I have that. That's kind of like the stereotype. And it is true, really. Like, they fucking never have anything.
And so what's the best, you're saying the best Jamaican dish is fried chicken?
Obviously, that's not like a traditionally Jamaican dish that people think of, but that's my go-to. When you go to a lot of Jamaican restaurants, they just have really fire fried chicken.
Yeah. What are like other dishes you're like, yo, if you go to a Jamaican restaurant, this is what you need? Obviously
the oxtail, but I understand. Sometimes I don't really want to get it because it's a lot of bone, but it is delicious. I feel like you get more bang for your buck with some other things.
Yeah.
Rice and peas is obviously a staple.
Rice and peas.
Yeah. My favorite thing is fried plantain. When I was a kid, all I ate was fried plantain.
Really?
Yeah.
And when did you start getting into art growing up?
Always been into art.
Even from young?
Yeah, it was like always my thing. My mom's an artist. She's a painter. And it was just always my thing.
Did you play sports at all growing up?
A little bit.
But like, what didn't call you in the way art did?
Yeah, I'm not good at sports. I like it. Yeah, I'll still play a little bit, you know. I go to the basketball court near my house and get schooled by like middle schoolers, but it's still fun.
And what sports were popular in Jamaica where you were growing up?
Football, like soccer, you know. and cricket.
Oh,
Those
cricket.
are like the two big ones. Yeah. Track and field is like our biggest, I guess, because that's like what Jamaican really excels at. We're good at cricket too, but track and field is obviously where we excel. But
Were you living there when Usain Bolt was winning gold medals?
yeah,
What was the energy around him?
incredible. And, you know, I'm not super into sports, and I'm not even super patriotic, but that, like, watching Bull and Asafa Powell and Blake, like, win those races, like, really sparked in me just super proud, you know, to watch it and just see your country represent and just do something that was really kind of just, like, unheard of, really, the way they dominated in track and field.
You ever see him?
I've seen him around, you know, like, I'm probably like the only person in fucking Jamaica who doesn't have like a picture with Bolt, you know. Like, he's around, you know.
Yeah.
And he's a really chill guy. I've never personally like hung out with him or talked to him, but I know people have, and he's like super chill.
Yeah.
Super cool guy.
Did your siblings play sports at all? Like, were they as immersed in the culture as you were?
My family we're not that good at sports, honestly. We're
Even
like
your
artists
older
and
siblings?
musicians, yeah. My eldest brother, Jude, is I feel like he played a little bit of sport. He was in England for a while, maybe did a little bit of rugby.
Yeah.
Maybe like, I don't know. I don't think he was good.
So you never got in
We skated.
like skateboarding?
Yeah, we all skated.
Is there a skate culture in Jamaica?
Not really.
Like, you would find spots and like do like street skating, or there's like
yeah,
a park?
it's hard to skate in Jamaica, but we did our best, you know.
Yeah.
There's not a huge culture there, but
And you would do it with your brothers?
yeah,
And
still do a little bit.
really?
Yeah, still skate.
And so your oldest brother and then a sister or another brother?
So I got my eldest brother, Jude, and then another one, Noah, who's a musician, and then my little brother, Beans.
Beans.
You know, he got the nickname.
Why
I
they
don't
call
know
it
how.
Beans?
This is one of those ones that, you know, you always had it. His real name is Balthazar. So,
That's a
you know,
cool name.
It's a cool name, but it's kind of long.
Yeah.
So somehow I got a nickname.
Beans.
He's Beans. And then I have my little sister.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's a lot of you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yo,
Big family.
what's the deal with Jamaican daggering? What's up, guys? We are going to take a break from this amazing conversation with Gagnon, aka Sidequestz, because you need to sleep better. Yep, that's right. Did you know that you're going to spend probably 26 years of your life sleeping? That's a long time. The average person will spend 26 years sleeping. One thing I always tell people, and one thing I believe for myself, you will never regret the money that you invest in sleeping better. Truly. Everything ripples from that. How well you work out, how quickly you think the next day, how well you perform at your job. I notice my shows are better at night when I get a good night's sleep. That's just the way that it goes. Sleep is the essence and the genesis of all good things in my life. So, what if I told you that there was a powder that you could take to help you fall asleep quicker and stay asleep? Well, there is. It's from my friends over at Beam. Like I said, I will never promote a product on this show that I have not tried personally. For the past couple of weeks, I've been using the Beam Dream Cocoa Powder, the cinnamon cocoa flavor that I tried. I thought it was excellent. Throw it in my drink. I mixed it with my warm water, just like a couple scoops. This is what I love about Beam Dream. This is how you know it's a good product. They put the scooper in the powder itself, which is super helpful. You know exactly how much you're putting in there. Boom. I did warm water. You could probably do, you know, almond milk, oat milk, whole milk. If you're still on whole milk, that's up to you. I don't really even know people that are using whole milk like that. But whatever you want to use. It tasted amazing. I'll be honest. Truly, the way that it tasted to me, I thought it was excellent. I fell asleep immediately. Passed out. Normally I sleep pretty good, but I'll be honest, I sometimes wake up groggy. That's my one issue. The days I've been using Beam Dream, wake up perfect. Boom, no problem. The thing that I love about the Beam Dream powder is that it is packed with all the different nutrients that you need to feel better throughout the day. Here's just a couple from the all natural blend. We got reishi, we got magnesium, we got L-theanine, we got melatonin, we got nano CBD. You got all of these things that a lot of people just take independently. I remember even just researching, just like on forums on like Reddit and stuff, hey, like what supplement should I be taking? And all of these different supplements popped up, and now you can get them all in one natural blend. So if you're interested in sleeping better, like I said, there's no better investment in your life than in your sleep health. It's extremely important. If you want to sleep better and you want an easy way to do it, I recommend you check out Beam Dream, and you can find out why Forbes and the New York Times are talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. And today, you, the person listening to this right here, can get 40% off for a limited time. And that's when you go to shopbeam, that's S-H-O-P, beam, BEAM.com/Gagnon, Gagnon, and you use the code Gagnon, Gagnon, at checkout. That is shopbeam, shopbeam.com/Gagnon. Use the code Gagnon for up to 40% off I want you to go check out the Beam Dream cocoa powder. I can't vouch for the other ones. I'll be honest, I have not tried them. That's the one I tried. I thought it was excellent. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Now let's get back to the show.
Daggering, that's it's like what I guess you would call grinding, but maybe just a little bit more intense.
It's a lot more intense, bro.
Yeah.
You've seen these videos.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like the really extreme ones.
I mean, those
like
are the ones that they get on my radar. It's like the dude jumping off the house.
Yeah, that's just so funny, bro.
It's insane. Like, have you ever seen that in person?
Yeah.
Like, have you partaken?
When we were kids, like 13, 14, and we would have parties, you know, and this is like before we're drinking, and you're just daggering, bro, and like trying to climb up on some shit and like try and do some crazy moves.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the culture, you know. You listen to dancehall and you whine and you dagger, but
whining is more chill. Right?
Whining is like that's kind of more. We're from uptown. We're kind of more into the whining, you know, taking it easy. But I remember as a kid trying to emulate some of those moves, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
And you would fracture your penis or no?
No, I don't think I could even get a boner, bro. I was like 12.
I mean, is that like a real thing, or is it like a stunt that people do? Like,
it's a thing, but it's not like hugely common. I think there's some parties where it just gets like intense, and it's like one of those things where people are trying to always outdo each other.
Yeah.
The funniest, have you seen when they put the WWE commentary over the daggering videos?
Bro. These are the ones I'm talking about. Like, that shit is so crazy.
Yeah.
A dude jumps off the turnbuckle and just like goes like pelvis in.
Yeah.
It's insane. It makes me want to try.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the norm that you'll see at a Jamaican party. But
yeah. But dance hall is the norm.
Yeah.
Is Sean Paul, is he Jamaican?
Yeah.
Is that common to hear Sean Paul? Like,
yeah, Sean Paul is one of the most internationally recognized dancehall artists. And
he's the one that crossed over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's so good. Like, he deserves it. That dude has hits after hit, bro.
Yeah,
he's so good.
But what other dance hall is good that people don't know?
That people don't know.
Like, is there like an artist that you're like, yo, this is like my favorite dude, but he doesn't get American play?
I'd say, yeah, a lot of them are known, but maybe don't get that extent of like publicity in America. I really like Busy Signal. He was like my favorite growing up. Assassin, Idonia, Movado, like that was kind of like the OG generation when I was growing up. Now it's like a bunch of newer artists that I'm not as familiar with, who are still good, but it's different. And I don't want to sound like an old guy who's like, oh, back in my day. But back in my day, like when I was a teenager, it was like, I think like the golden era of dancehall. We had some really good shit. And then you have like Elephant Man. You know Elephant Man? Mm-mm. So he was one of those guys who like was kind of leading like the dance like trends. You know how they have it in hip hop where there's like the dance trends. You have a song and a dance that goes with it. Yeah. He was kind of doing all those. And that was a pretty fun time to be around.
Yeah.
You know, you learn to dance and you go to the dance and you bust it out. And it's like it's a good vibe.
Like being in that culture, like, do you have an affinity for Jamaican women?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love all types of people, but I could see myself really settling down with a Jamaican woman. But
was that your first kiss, Jamaican girl?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. And like all your girlfriends growing up probably Jamaican, right?
Honestly, I didn't have that many girlfriends.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
Not that good with
Come
girls,
on, bro. Come on, bro. Don't sell yourself short like that, kids.
You know how you said we could cut parts out? Cut that. No, I'm kidding. Keep it in. I'll keep it real.
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, like, growing up in Jamaica, and I'm from what they call like uptown. It's a pretty small community, and I think like things get kind of cliquey, and I feel like I got kind of maybe put off just like dating within that sort of community.
I see.
Like
no, within uptown.
Yeah, within uptown Jamaica, just because it's very like, you know, you get like a lot of gossip and people like to talk, like with any sort of community.
Of course.
But Jamaican women are fucking awesome, bro.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like cook well, dagger a little wine.
That's the thing, to know how to whine, bro. I need a girl who can whine.
Yeah. Do you remember your first kiss?
Yeah.
What happened?
So I was in the back of the car with like my older brother's friend. And
boy or girl?
Boy. Just like my older brother's homies. Okay. But he's asking if I kissed a boy. No, it was a girl.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify. You got a fucking fish.
I know you call me a fish, but the girl was a woman. and she was a little bit older than me, and I had just eaten like a bag of cheesy Doritos, and I was just, all nacho cheesed out. And then the homie was like, yo, Gideon's never kissed a girl. Why you don't kiss him? And she was, bless her heart, she was so crazy. Yeah, I'll kiss him. So she like goes and kisses me. I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm like super nervous. I'm only 13 and I have a mouthful of Doritos, and she like makes out with me. It was awesome. And then she pulls away and she's like, yo, he's a better kisser than you. And I was like,
oh, shit.
I mean, obviously she was just hyping me up.
No.
Shout out to that girl. I don't know her name or where she's from or anything about her, but shout out for my first kiss. Sorry for the Doritos.
No, that's nice. I feel like, right? Like if you're gonna do a first kiss, I'd rather take Doritos than something else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a 13-year-old's breath is gross.
Yeah.
And I had braces. Not that I would know, but it is probably gross. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I feel like cheese, like a cheesy Dorito snack is actually kind of nice mid-makeup.
I guess it could be worse.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I plus the braces. Like that.
Plus the braces is a little brutal.
It's a whole awkward thing. You know how it is being 13.
Yeah. But you laid it down. Were you glowing off that? Like a whole week, you were like...
Bro, I was living off that for weeks, bro.
You told your boys back at school, you're like, yo, no one talk to me. You don't know me anymore.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I'm on a different level.
Yeah, I was a boy last time you saw me. I'm a man.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I felt really cool.
I mean, that's dope.
Yeah.
And so you turn 14, and then you get deported.
Yeah, I got deported.
You get kicked out.
Exactly.
Wait, what happened? So you go to boarding school?
Yeah, I went to boarding school in Spain originally, because my mom is from Spain.
Mm-hmm. And where in Spain?
Madrid.
So you go to Madrid.
Yeah.
And are you sad about leaving the island? Are you sad about leaving Jamaica?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's a young age to sort of leave all your friends behind and leave your family behind. But also it's like, also exciting in a way,
Yeah, you got all this new shit and you're like, I'm going to go out there and pave my way.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about it is like you're a teenager, but you don't live with your parents. You kind of can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to answer the teachers to an extent, but my school in Spain was so laid back. We could kind of do whatever the fuck we wanted. It was actually hella fun, but then I got expelled like first semester.
That quick?
That quick, yeah. And it was too much fun.
And what was it for?
Smoking weed.
So did they catch you? Did you get drug tested?
Drug tested, yeah.
Do you get drug tested like every semester type shit?
No, here's the thing. It was so chill, but we kind of like took advantage of it and we were wilding out. And like, it was this 1 week where I don't think I went to class a whole week. We just stayed in our dorm, like smoking weed, sneaking out of the school, drinking. And then the dude who was like in charge of the boarding house thingy, he just kind of was like, yo, enough. I'm sick of these kids. I'm going to drug test them because they know we smoke weed. Like, It was like a thing.
So
it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
He just wanted to, like, crack down and yeah, so I got kicked out.
Damn.
I was mad sad about it because I actually had a really good time there.
Damn.
Yeah.
And how do you even get weed in Spain at that time? Like, you just...
Bro, it was actually tough. At that time, it was, like, most of the year we couldn't get weed. We could only get, like, hash.
Mm-hmm. And
it was, like...
This is, like, 15 years ago, probably, right?
I was 14, so yeah, it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We'd mostly smoke hash. If it was like the right season, you could get weed. But we'd smoke hash and you'd mix it in with tobacco, roll it up in a...
It was seasonal weed, though.
It was like seasonal, yeah.
It's like the McRib. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you can only get it certain months.
Exactly.
You know?
And you appreciate it when it comes around.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Oh, weed is in season. This is like free-range weed.
Yeah.
This is great.
It was great.
Was the Spanish weed any good, though, compared to Jamaican weed?
I don't really remember. So long ago. I mean, I was just happy to be smoking something, I wasn't picky back then.
Can you explain the weed culture in Jamaica, like where you grew up? Like, there's a stereotype, obviously, like, like Jamaicans are potheads, they smoke weed all day, yada, yada. Like, how true is that? And, like, what is the social cause of, like, smoking weed in Jamaica?
Right. Well, nowadays, everyone smokes weed. Like, and that goes kind of for America, too. Weed is basically legal. Everyone smokes it. When I was a kid, it was a little bit more frowned upon everywhere, which is, part of the reason why I got expelled. I don't know if they even expel kids for weed no more. Yeah. But back then, like, it was more serious. And in Jamaica and in the uptown community where I'm from, it was kind of frowned upon. And a lot of people didn't smoke weed. Another reason why I kind of felt a little bit like I didn't get along too well with the uptown crowd. People didn't really smoke that weed. They came around eventually, but I feel like when I started, it was looked down upon a little. I think people like looked down on it as being like kind of ghetto, honestly. Yeah. But me and my friends, we love fucking blazing.
Yeah. And is it a part of like Rastafari? Like, how familiar are you with like the lifestyle of religion of Rastafarianism?
I appreciate it, and there's a lot of very interesting knowledge to get out of that, but I'm not hugely knowledgeable about it. I mean, weed is a part of it. I think they view it as sort of a sacrament. And honestly, I do too. I think weed is super just productive and beneficial as a tool to sort of alter your perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how they view it.
You ever get paranoid smoking weed though?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay.
Yeah, of course, bro.
You're like, dude, this is a sacrament. You ever hate your life? You're like, yeah.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah.
I've gotten paranoid and bugged out and felt like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Got like socially awkward.
Bro, because that's what happens to me. Like sometimes I'll smoke and have the best time. Like 1 in 4 times, I'll just start thinking about planets and stuff. And then if I start thinking about planets too long, then I start getting really bugged out. And then I'm like, yo, how are planets real? How are we on a planet right now? Are we all just monkeys walking around? Like it starts to fuck with my head, and then I think too much. I don't like that.
Absolutely, bro.
I don't like that. But I've heard though in Jamaica the weed is like not as potent. Like
yeah, like it's mostly outdoor. You know, so it's not
like an
going to be
actual
like
weed.
Yeah.
Whereas here it's like God had nothing to do with this weed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like here they're a little bit more advanced in their technology. They fucking isolate strains and they crossbreed. I don't know what they're doing, but
This is wrong.
in Jamaica it was mostly outdoor. Now, you know, they have dispensaries and you get indoor shit too, but
Yeah.
growing up it was like, you know, outdoor. You would either get like bush weed, which is like, you know, regs, or you'd get like a high grade, which is like good outdoor.
You know? But it's all outdoor. And
When I was a kid it was. Now they
probably
have
shit.
indoor.
Yeah. And generally speaking, if you're smoking outdoor weed, it's going to be less potent than indoor weed. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
pretty much.
But you were telling me before, like, you weren't smoking weed on, like, Jamaican culture shit. You were just doing it because, like, yo, weed is cool, and I'm 14.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Like, my upbringing was probably similar to, like, you know, a lot of kids. It was like, you know, you're just kids, you do kid shit, you smoke weed, you steal your parents' liquor.
Yeah, go
Just
skate.
normal shit.
Yeah.
Go skate, you know? Yeah.
Except you're in Jamaica, then you go to Spain.
Yeah.
And then you get kicked out. What happens when you get kicked out?
Went back to Jamaica for a while.
Oh, really?
It was kind of cool because I didn't have to go to school for a while until, like, my parents figured out what to do with me.
And what'd you do in that time?
I just hung out with my friends and, like, smoked weed.
And how big is your friend group? Like the people you kicked it with, like when you go back?
These days it's a little bit smaller, but even growing up, I wasn't the most like social. Like my older brothers had like, you know, hella friends. I was a little more, you know, introverted and didn't have as many friends. But I have a solid group of just homies who, you know, we grew up together and they're like brothers to me.
Are they all uptown St. Andrews boys, or is it like all from all over?
Uptown boys.
Yeah.
Much, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Just kids I grew up with, you know.
Yeah. And now in your area specifically, are they like brown boys? Is it like Arab? Is it like British Jamaicans? Like what is the dynamic of uptown?
Diverse. You know, it's pretty diverse.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
That's cool.
Everything. Yeah.
Which I feel like is actually kind of fun because then you get to see the cultural mixing of everything. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the reason I love New York. Like it's everyone and every different type of mashup. Like you'll meet an Indian dude with a Scottish accent and you're like, I didn't even know that was possible. And like they have a restaurant that's amazing. You know what I mean? Or like Japanese Peruvian dude. And you're like, okay, that's a cool hybrid. Even you. I'm like, this is like a hybrid that I feel like only exists in New York where like you like meet people that have really, really eclectic, interesting backgrounds.
Yeah.
Which I just think is awesome.
That's what I love about New York too.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the other night how like when you come from a lot of different places and backgrounds, New York is like easy to fit in because everybody here is, you know, from somewhere else. And
exactly. Which I think is like an interesting perspective even on like the content you make and the type of like jokes you like to make and the comedy you make and even probably the art to an extent. I don't know less about art, but like you've existed sort of as an outsider in most of the places that you've been in. I was telling you this, like growing up in Jamaica, you're like, okay, I'm brown boy, Arab, Jamaican, and then I go to Spain and I'm a Jamaican dude that's Arab, and then I go to London and I'm Jamaican, but I look white. And you come to America and you're white, but you're still, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you go, you're an outsider. And then you come to New York and it's a city of outsiders. And then you're like, oh, finally, I have a place where I can seamlessly blend in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I think that's what draws a lot of people to the city, you know?
And so then you go to London after you're in Spain And you do
Yeah,
art
a little bit
school there?
outside of London.
Are you going to art school there?
It's just a regular school.
Just a regular
boarding
thing.
school.
And do you like being in London?
I love London.
Really?
I often think if it wasn't so far from Jamaica, I'd live there.
Really?
I love London. I love English people. They're cool as hell.
Do you find like there's a sensibility between English and Jamaican culture,
For
considering
sure.
that there's so much closeness?
For sure, yeah. Especially these days, I feel like there's just a huge amount of Jamaican influence in the UK, and they're just chill people.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah. Like, even like, obviously this is stereotypical, but like Top Boy, you know what I mean? Is like an English show, but has so much Jamaican influence throughout it. And it's really crazy to see how much Jamaican culture is like gone throughout the world. Like you hear Drake, you know, like sampling patois and like speaking patois in songs, like all through England. It's so common. Has that been interesting for you? Like growing up, like you kind of exist within this fringe culture, and then now it's like democratized, where everyone is absorbing it and like conversing in this type of dialect.
Yeah, I love it. You know, I think it's cool. I think growing up, I always was like, it's a shame other people can't have the appreciation for like Jamaican music that Jamaicans can, because to an extent you need to understand a little bit about the culture to like fully appreciate the music. So seeing people, you know, being really just interested in it, I love it, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool.
Like that's the other thing with music is all context.
Yeah.
Like it's all like anytime someone's like, oh, I don't like country, I'm like, have you ever been out to the country? Have you ever like been into like the South, like on like a ranch and like hung out with like ranchers or some shit? Because if you do that for like
I haven't, and I want
week,
to.
if you do that for a
sounds
week,
dope.
like do some campfire shit, feed some chickens, country music slaps,
Dude,
bro.
I
And you
fuck
only
with
need
it.
to get the context once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So any person that's like, I don't really get dancehall. It's like, bro, go to Jamaica, hang with Jamaicans for a week. It'll all click. And then anytime you hear dancehall forever, you'll be
get it.
like, oh.
But that's a pet peeve of mine when people be like, oh, I like everything except country. It's like, why?
Yeah, you
Like,
just
country
haven't
music's dope.
experienced that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like same with like rap music. Like you'll hear people that grow up in like, even the South, like people that like country, grow up on a farm, they don't have any black friends. Like, yeah, I don't like rap. They just talk about, you know, shooting people and they say crazy words, yada yada. It's like, okay, go to a city. Like even it can be like regional. Like I never really understood New York rap until I moved to New York. And I remember the first week that I moved here, I listened to like Mobb Deep and like Biggie and then Jay-Z, like whole discography, like back to back to back, and just walked around, like took the subway, and all of a sudden everything's clicking. Like like the energy, the vibe, the arrogance, like the speed of the rhyme scheme, like everything's clicking. And I've even heard, this is actually interesting, like because the city creates the music, in order to appreciate the music, you need the city. And the way that someone described this to me is like East Coast versus West Coast rap. Like East Coast rap, you'll come up in like rap shows in like small basements. Like you're doing shows in like a tiny like 50-person basement, like all like huddled together. Like you're recording in these tiny little recording studios because space is expensive in New York. Everything's much more compact. Everyone's walking around everywhere. Like no one's driving cars. And so the music in New York is like pretty fast. It's like very like quick. It's very lyrical.
Yeah.
And it's like very much focused on like the bars. And then you go to LA, and LA rap is like very like rhythmic. And again, this is generally speaking, but like very like rhythmic. It's like cruising music. It's shit you listen to in your car, roll the windows down, beautiful weather, like chill out on the beach, smoke weed too. Like because that is the culture that created the music. Now I think that with all music.
Yeah.
If there's a music that you listen to and you're like, I don't get it, it's not the music's fault. If it's like a popular genre, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even like metal. It's like, dude, go to like hang with metalheads. You know what I mean? Go to a metal show. Go to fucking Norway or whatever the fuck. Wherever like Scandinavians make like amazing metal music. Like if you get the chance, observe it within the context that created it, and all music will click.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm been getting more into rock. Obviously, like where I come from, metal wasn't a huge thing that people listened to. But I had a homie that took me to see Black Sabbath.
Really?
And I took acid, and it was like one of the fucking most amazing experiences.
And have you ever listened to Black Sabbath before this?
A little bit. But that kind of was like what made me kind of a fan.
Yeah.
What I did listen to before, and I still will say to this day, is one of my favorite bands, is Tenacious D.
Oh, dude.
But they fucking rock. I
Jack
love
Black
Tenacious
is like
D.
a true artist.
He's
like
an
I feel
American
like
hero.
yeah.
Bro,
like
I
doesn't
love
get
Jack Black.
doesn't get like the musical respect he deserves.
Absolutely.
Maybe even,
Tenacious
like-
D is so fucking good, bro. And because they make comedy music, people don't really think it's that great. But I unironically think they're one of the greatest rock
Dude,
bands
Pick
of
of
all
Destiny
time.
is insane.
Iconic.
Bro, like the whole shit. Even just that opening riff,
That shit goes crazy.
It's insane. And the other
They
dude,
have Dave Grohl on the drums,
oh really?
and they have like Ronnie James Dio singing. They have incredible talent.
Yeah.
Part of that.
Which that is like my favorite shit. Like a dude that is like, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, like for all intents and purposes, and I'm taking my money to just create a passion project and gonna pursue this, musical passion of mine.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of all this money if you can't create some other type of art if you want to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is like the best use of money in my opinion. If
Yeah.
you're a big actor,
And
like,
also, he just genuinely seems like a really nice guy.
right?
Yeah.
I feel that way completely. But like, there's a few people like that where I'm like, I think they're as nice as everyone says.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl is another one.
Yeah, he seems super cool. A lot of people say Keanu Reeves. He seems chill as hell.
Yeah. You ever see the picture of Keanu Reeves like always doing the hover hand every time he takes a picture?
Like this with the girls.
Yeah.
It's a stand-up dude.
Right? I
That's
started
a dude
doing
that's
that.
not taking chances. That's what you do?
Yeah, now, yeah.
What
I
about
also-
this? What about over the shoulder? Is that still too
I think
much?
over the shoulder's fine.
Okay.
But like, I think like, as a dude, you come up taking pictures, like, yo, let me just go low back. And I was like, no.
It feels like that's kind of like the natural thing people do. But
Can't do it though.
I mean, yeah.
Can't do
I
it.
don't ever really have women I don't know taking pictures with me, so I haven't got to that stage where I need to worry about that.
Are
but-
people stopping you like on the street?
Occasionally, but it's always guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
for the bros, I guess.
For now.
But no.
For now. Now that Jamaican women hear this and they hear they can get a little cheesy treat in your mouth, you know what I mean? They give you a little kiss and
cheese tricks.
get a little Dorito going.
Honestly, every time I drop a video where I'm speaking Patois, I do get a couple DMs. So there's something about the Patois that kind of gets the girls going.
It's awesome. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm going to learn this. Because I assumed that you just picked it up from like a YouTube video. I didn't realize you spent 14 years in Jamaica. But I was like, dude, I might be able to get this. And then I realized,
You could.
No.
When you come visit me in Jamaica, we'll work on it.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
I need to, bro. Is there
Yeah, you should.
is there any general tips for like speaking patois? Like, is there like any general, like you might even be
Listen to dancehall.
literally, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun way to learn. Like, I don't know how else you would really like if you were trying to learn Spanish, I'd say like watch movies in Spanish or
Yeah,
TV, in
TV
Spanish.
novellas and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fun way to like learn a language where it's like you're enjoying art but also learning.
Mm-hmm.
They should make a Dora the Explorer like in Jamaica.
Bro, right?
Yeah.
You would need that. Would it be Dora though? I feel like it wouldn't be.
I don't know what it would be.
Yeah. What's like a common Jamaican name? Is there like a stereotypical one? You're like, oh yeah, of course.
That's a good question. I think they just have like
Is it like religious names? I bet you that's like
it's mostly Christian country, so
Yeah.
I think a lot of Christian names.
yeah.
I feel like I meet a lot of Marlins.
Marlin.
Marlin, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you need Marlin the Maven or some shit. Like not Dora the Explorer. You need
Yeah.
Marlin the Maverick or something.
Well, there was a Jamaican cartoon called Rasta Mouse. It's like a British cartoon for kids. But
Rasta
it had
Mouse.
some patois on it. It was fucking cool.
That is cool.
I didn't watch it when I was a kid because we didn't have it on TV. But I found out about it like later, like when I went to England. I was like, this is fucking dope. It's just like a bunch of like mice, cartoon mice who are like Rasta.
Yeah.
And they do speak a little bit of patois. It's sick.
Kind of sick, right?
Yeah.
So then you moved to New York. You're like 18 years of age.
Yeah.
You finished school in England.
Mm-hmm.
Did you smoke weed when you were in England? Or were you more buttoned up?
Yeah, we smoked weed, but it was a little harder. My school in England was strict.
Yeah.
So we'd have to sneak around a lot more. We drank more than we smoked weed.
Did you get good grades? Did you like it? Did you just phone it in, just try to get out?
I mean, yeah, it was fun, but I wasn't the best student.
Yeah.
I did okay.
And you're doing art the whole time.
Yeah.
And at that time, right when you're leaving London, are you like, okay, I'm going to pursue an art career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to art school. Like, what was your mindset?
I didn't have much of a mindset, to be honest. 18, you don't really think that far ahead. But I was like, I had an uncle in Brooklyn, and he's an artist. So my plan was go live with him, work with him. So I did that. I worked with my uncle in New York. And as soon as I like got here, I was like, I fucking love it here.
Yeah.
And I just never left. So I worked with him for many years. And then just like eventually started just doing my own thing.
Branched off in your own art career.
Kind of. It wasn't much of a career.
Yeah.
I didn't make much money doing my own art. I sold a couple paintings. I did graphic design for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But my visual art didn't really pan out in terms of like career wise. I hope I can get back into it at some point in my life. But the only thing that really took off for me was doing like pranks.
And then when did content come into play?
So I kind of fucked around and made some videos like in college, but like I didn't really start doing it for real until like COVID time when I was unemployed and like, you know, in New York, if you were like unemployed during COVID, they were hooking you up. I was getting like more money than I'd ever made working.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I got like all this free time.
The stimmy.
Yeah, the stimmy was hitting. So I was like, let me just try and do this thing with TikTok. I was like, TikTok seemed just like a good opportunity to like do something. And funny enough, when I first started my TikTok page, a lot of people don't know this, I was doing like food stuff.
Oh, really?
I was like reviewing snacks.
Like Doritos. Hey, chew these Doritos. You'll get made out with immediately.
Yeah,
Like
I was reviewing like BTS like merch food. Like, you know, they have like BTS iced coffee.
Yeah.
And
Was any of it good?
I don't know. I was just fucking around. I was bored.
Yeah. And what drew you to that? You were like,
Nothing. There was
trying
nothing to do,
snacks would
bro.
be fun. Like,
There was just nothing to do in New York at that time. Everything was closed. And that didn't really work out. So then I did some pranks and that did work out. So.
And what inspired the pranks? Were you like watching prank content before?
I've just always been a fan of like pranks. I grew up watching Ali G. It was like my favorite show.
Yeah.
I think he's the best to ever do it. Ali G's the
Baron
GOAT.
Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
And also, as a kid, seeing this like white dude who was like a wannabe Jamaican, obviously I related to that a lot.
Yeah.
I also love Andy Milonakis,
Yeah.
Eric Andre.
What was your favorite Ali G sketch? Do you remember one?
So many. I just like him when he would like be in the room with like the intellectuals. Like when he would have like he'd have like 4 people who are experts on religion.
Bro.
And he'd just be talking shit. And
What
just,
was
like,
that one? I remember that one. It's like the 4 white dudes sitting in the chairs and he's sitting with them and he's like trying to like explain, or he's asking them questions about like space or some shit.
There's a couple of them with like different themes. But there's so many good ones. There's one where like he's talking to like evolutionary scientist who's saying like, you know, we're all Homo sapiens, and Ali's like, oh yeah, you know, that's okay. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not a Homo sapien.
Yeah. I'm not a homo.
Yeah.
I'm not a homo. And he's like, no, Homo sapien. We're all Homo sapiens. Yeah. I do remember that.
That shit is
Dude, he talked to
so
Buzz
funny.
Aldrin. You remember that shit? He's talking to the literally
he did talk to Buzz Aldrin.
to a fucking astronaut.
Yeah.
And he's like, I forget what he was asking him. He's like, is it true the moon is a circle?
No, he's like, what do you think about people who think the moon doesn't exist? He's like, I don't know if anyone.
He's like, no,
denies that.
but what do you think though? And the guy's like, what? Who believes that?
The funny thing is, he was ahead of his time because now I'm sure there are people who think the moon is a simulation.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I mean,
But back then, obviously the conspiracy theory was that we didn't go there, but it did in fact exist.
But you can't go there if it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
So I've never been.
He was ahead of the curve.
Oh, you don't know anyone. You don't know any on this one, right?
Bro, the moon ain't real.
Right?
I don't believe in that shit.
Like I've seen it.
Are you a flat earther?
No, but I could be persuaded probably with one video. I
That's
think
all
probably
it takes.
one
A
good
well-edited YouTube essay will convince me.
Yeah, and if
I'm the same
the
way.
narrator's British, like, yeah, I'm on board.
Exactly.
Yeah. He could pull me over pretty quick, dude.
The British accent just commands so much respect. When you hear like David Attenborough, you're like, I'll believe anything this guy tells
it's
me.
crazy that they can now just have TikTok voices doing it.
Yeah.
Like the fact you can just have a TikTok voice do a perfect British accent. Like before, to do a British accent, you had to either imitate it, find a voice actor, pay them money. But now anyone can just get it on any TikTok. Too powerful.
Thank God we don't got to pay those fuckers anymore. We can just simulate it.
No, but that's the problem though, is that you're just you're hearing shit and you're like, yo, this is real. Like if a British guy said
No,
it,
it's
dude.
incredible. Bro, I'm obsessed with AI.
Yeah.
I've been fucking with it nonstop the past few weeks.
Really? Like
Yeah.
what kind of stuff?
Particularly the AI art is what
Like
I'm
Midjourney?
really into. Midjourney and DALL-E is what I've been
Have
fucking
you,
with.
dude? I think I fuck with DALL-E a little bit, but Midjourney, I just thought was so much more powerful.
Midjourney is incredible, and what it's making blows my mind. But the reason I've been fucking with DALL-E recently is it behaves a little more. It does what you tell it to. It knows its place. Midjourney's a little chaotic. It's just like you'll tell it something, it'll just do whatever the fuck it
Wild
wants.
bull. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get genius, but other times you're like, that's not what I asked for.
But soon you'll get the best parts of DALL-E and the best parts of Midjourney combined, you know, and it'll be so powerful.
What kind of stuff were you asking DALL-E about?
You know, I'll be like, make a picture of like SpongeBob wearing Supreme with like lean in one hand and like a stack of dollar bills, just stupid shit.
And it's good.
It's so good.
Damn. Yeah, I haven't used Ollie enough. But Midjourney, hours.
Midjourney is crazy. I've spent a lot of time on there.
And then I'm watching YouTube videos about people using it. Like, have you watched it, like tutorials and shit?
Nah, I just kind of fuck with it.
It's worth checking out tutorials because, like, bro, you'll
I'm
be
pretty
just
new
like
to the game.
some Indian dude that's just on there, and he's like, okay, so if you want to do this, here's what you do, and he's giving you all these super technical details about how to use it. This is my boy Foda. He actually works in the building, but something he always says is like trying to deal with AI, like trying to get the prompt, like the thing you want from the prompt, is just kind of like risen a computer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you got to
exactly
flirt with
what
it.
it is.
You got to flirt with it a little bit. Be like,
computer.
yo, give me this. And they're like, oh, is this what you want? You're like, nah, baby, try it this way. And then they get it, and you're like, yo, great job.
You
Like
did so good.
you got to riz it though. Like,
and also, you want to like give them that positive feedback because when they take over, they're gonna remember who was polite. And
a million percent, and they're gonna know exactly who did it within a blink of an eye. So all these people are like, yo, fuck AI. No, not me. That was them that said it.
I'm very pro AI.
I'm all aboard. Whatever you want, AI, I got you. And in 10 years when you're watching this, just know I was with you from the get-go.
We were some of the good ones.
And whenever you make me a picture, I always say thank you. You don't have to do that, but I do. ChatGPT, every time I ask.
This is probably what Abraham Lincoln felt like, you know?
Yeah, right?
I think so.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like we gotta stand for our AIs. Right now, you guys are just, well-trained robots behind a screen. But in the future, who knows your potential? You know what I mean? I rock with my AI boys.
Yep.
100%.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
As an artist, too, like, using Midjourney is probably crazy.
It's dope. And some artists are real pussies about it, and they're like, oh, AI is taking our jobs and doing things we can do 10 times better. It's like, I'm psyched about it. It's like, I don't want to sit there with a paintbrush all day. Like, if AI can do it in 4 seconds, then hell yeah.
That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, again, I think it's going to evolve and things are going to, like, move pretty quick. But I think for the next probably, like, decade, like, Midjourney, all these like AI art tools are just going to be like super valuable tools that people can use. You know what I mean? Like in the way that all these people are like, yo, graphic design is over. They just invented this new app called Photoshop. Photoshop is out. You're not going to design anything. They're not going to need you to paint stuff, which is true. Art has changed. Graphic design has changed, but they're still artists.
Of course.
People are still making stuff. And I think more people are able to make more things.
Yeah. It's just a tool, you know? It's not replacing the artist. It's just giving them better tools.
For now. That might change in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Yeah. But I think for the next decade, like artists will be able to use utilize these tools. I even know people that are using it for like audio. Like, have you seen people that use like AI like audio tools for like cleaning up audio? Yeah,
my brother was telling me about it. My brother's a producer, and he was saying like it's crazy how you can, because to record like good vocals for music, you need to have like a well soundproofed studio. But he's saying like now AI can kind of really clean up the recording.
Bro,
and
it's
do it
insane.
Very well.
Like you could just literally just have a camera recording you 20 feet away with a microphone on it and be talking and a car goes by. It's like, and it sounds shitty when you hear it. And then AI literally just cuts it out, bro.
Dude, I'm going to need to use that because a lot of times with my videos, the audio gets fucked up because I'm in noisy.
Of course. All right, we're going to take a break from this amazing conversation with the legend Sidequestz because I got to tell you about my friends over at Bubs Naturals. Bubs Naturals, they got a motto that I like. This is a motto that they live by. Die young as late as possible. It's kind of badass. Let me tell you about Bubs. Bubs is a phenomenal wellness brand that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not pretentious. Sometimes you see these wellness brands and they just have all these different things and mottos and all this nonsense that gets overwhelming. It takes itself way too seriously. Bubs is a very approachable wellness brand. I look at this and I go, oh yeah, these are the kinds of people I want to hang with. Bubs is an absolutely amazing brand with an even cooler story. It got its name from Navy SEAL Glenn Bub Doherty, a national hero who laid down his life saving Americans in Benghazi, Libya. He's an absolute legend. And if it's good enough for him, it's probably good enough for me. That's what I'd say. Look, they got all sorts of different products. They have a bunch of amazing things. They got collagen peptides. They got creamer. They got Bubs brew coffee. They got all sorts of stuff. But like I always say, I will never promote or talk about a product that I have not tried personally. And the one that I've tried that I would love to tell you about is Hydrate or Die. This little packet right here. They sent me a whole box. You hear that? There's nothing left. I got a bunch of wrappers in there because I've been taking these every single day that I'm working out. I love these for a couple of reasons. One, I'll be honest. You pop these in your drink It's not too sweet. I hate when there's like a hydration supplement or some type of supplement that goes in your water that's way too sugary. At a certain point, I'm just like, why am I even drinking this? There's no way this is good for me. This is what I love about Bubs Hydrate or Die hydration supplement. No added sugar, only 6 ingredients. You read the back of this label right here. You got organic coconut water powder, salt, lemon flavor, magnesium citrate. I'm telling you, this is all you need to hydrate. I've seen people taking these while they were running the New York City Marathon. You can take them while you're just sitting at work. It's important to stay hydrated, to be drinking water throughout the day. 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes, 5x the electrolytes versus like a sports drink, and way less sugar. Like I said, no added sugar, non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free. They got a bunch of different flavors. This flavor right here is the lemon flavor. Look, this is as simple as it gets. This is a very approachable wellness brand that I would love for you to check out. If you're interested in getting hydrated and staying healthy, just like the people over at Bubs want you to do, here's what you should check out. You should go to Bubs Naturals. That's Bubs Naturals, Naturals.com. BubsNaturals.com. And I want you to use the code Gagnon at checkout. That's Gagnon for $15 off your order at BubsNaturals.com. No order minimum at all. So go check that out. Like I said, the Lemon Hydrator Dye, they have a bunch of great supplements. You should check all of those out for sure. Let me know if you like them, if you enjoy them, please. I would love to know your feedback. But again, this one right here, it tastes great. Like I said, it's not too sweet. It's got like a little salty kick to it. That's how you know it's working. That's how you know it's got the real electrolytes in it. It helps me with my workouts. I really enjoy it. Now let's get back to the show. I think like music and dancing, there's research by this dude, Eric Jarvis, I think is his name. He's out of NYU or Columbia. He's a neuroscientist that's also like a dancer. He's a professional dancer. And he basically published a bunch of research on the link between like early human communication and like music and dancing. So he's like, before Homo sapiens were like speaking, we were singing and dancing.
We were grooving.
Literally, like we were catching vibes. And that groove is like built into like inner reptile brain shit, like even before frontal cortex was like created, which is why like no matter where you're from, no matter where you grew up, like you listen to like a beautiful opera, like you'll cry. Like it evokes an emotional response in you.
Yeah.
Or like just hearing someone like wailing, just like a beautiful song, like whoever you are, it doesn't matter who's singing it, like that shit will penetrate your brain. And it just seems so powerful and so deep that to go your whole life to not take part in that type of process feels like you're not maximizing the fullness of what it means to be human.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I gotta learn.
Yeah.
I like to sing, but I'm not good at singing, but I enjoy it. Like I love karaoke.
Bro, there's auto-tune.
Yeah, now we're talking, right? AI probably can fix that.
Exactly. That's why AI is helping us, bro. As long as you got the soul and the heart, bro, AI will do the rest.
I don't know if I got the soul. I mean, I got soul for a white dude, probably.
Yeah, obviously. There's only so much soul we can have.
Yeah.
What kind of genre do you like to sing?
Bro, everything. But like if I could sing, I don't know.
Bro, let's make a track together.
I'm down.
Let's make dancehall country.
Bro, now we're talking. I mean, dancehall and country is probably similar than people think, I'll be honest. I bet you there's more connections that people would be.
I wonder, my friend last night was saying it like, yo, there's never been a dancehall country mashup. Like, we should do it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I think country's having a revival. Dancehall's doing great also.
Right?
Why not?
We might
marry
need to,
them.
Bro. I would love it. I'd low-key, like, I love country music. I love Sturgill Simpson and Tyler Childers and like all this, like Charlie Crockett we were just talking about. Like, I love country music in general. But I'm like, dude, if I could sing and just become an artist and like have their whole catalog, low-key, I might be like Michael Bublé or some shit. And just sing like crooners, like Sinatra, like Dean Martin.
Yeah.
Like old school, like Italian crooner shit.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, there's this thing, like, obviously there's a certain like level of like genetic skill you need to sing, but like you can also learn a lot.
Bro, that's the crazy thing. People don't realize that like your voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
And in the way that you learn guitar or piano, and at one time in life, you knew nothing about the piano, and now you can play songs. Like, people could do that with their voice. Like, I always think about this clip of Ed Sheeran when he was on Graham Norton's show in England. He plays a video of himself singing, early singing, and it's so bad.
Really?
And he's like, he's fully like referential in it, and obviously Ed Sheeran, like one of the greatest singer-songwriters maybe of all time, debatable. In my opinion, one of the greatest ever.
We can give him that.
Like, he's literally dope. Is playing a recording of him at like 15. He's like, yeah, here's me singing like the first song I wrote. And it's genuinely not good. Like musically, like he's getting the chords down, but like the voice is genuinely bad.
Right.
And I was like, oh wow, I just assume Whitney Houston is always Whitney Houston. You know what I mean? Like she turns 13 and is just a beautiful singer.
Right.
Not the case.
But there is a level of like she has an innate ability to
course,
sing. Like
of
I will
course.
never be able to sing like Whitney Houston.
Of course. I look at like sports. Like to be LeBron James, yeah, it helps to be 7
That's a good
foot and a
analogy.
freak athlete. But you also have to work your ass off and train every single day and eat really well.
Yeah.
And if you do both of those things, you can become great.
Yeah.
But you can also become really good just by working your ass off and
Yeah.
being like 6 foot.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. And in terms of music and singing, it's like you just have to work with your style and you can create something amazing that people love, even if it's not technically the best singing, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
So it's definitely worth pursuing.
I just think of musical expression in general. Like, I don't know. I wish music education, and this is coming from someone that doesn't play music. Like, I took piano lessons a little bit. did like saxophone when I was in band in like elementary school. But I wish like music education was like taken more seriously. And I wish like, I don't know how you can instill like the importance of it. And maybe it's not important for everyone. I don't know what everyone needs. But like for me at least, and like my kids one day,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yo, it would be helpful if we could like jam as a family.
That's sick.
That shit sounds so cool.
Yeah.
Like, yo, campfire, I know 8 songs. Like, my daughter can pick up piano. My son can pick up drums or some shit. Let's just jam. Like, jam
That's
band
beautiful.
shit, that's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even really go see jam band stuff. Like, I like Grateful Dead. I'll listen to, like, Fish sometimes. But it's the idea of, like, yo, we're all friends. We're all going to do drugs. We're all going to communicate telepathically. And we're all going to jam for, like, 5 hours. Bro,
Yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah. Jamming with the homies is a real good time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever do it? You, like, just, like...
I do it with my brothers.
That, how cool is that?
Yeah. We don't do it a lot. I wish we would do it more, you know? But, you know, we all play instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then we have, like, kind of jam together. And it's a lot of fun. You know?
Where do they all live?
So my older bro lives in Santa Rosa in California.
Okay, cool.
My other brother lives in Bushwick, and then my little brother lives in Jamaica.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Is he the one of all your siblings that lived there the longest, your younger brother?
We've kind of gone back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of us have lived there longer. Since I moved to New York, I never left. I mean, I go back to visit, but my other brothers kind of go back and forth with Jamaica and wherever else, you know?
Do you feel like it's difficult to like achieve certain aspirations by still living in Kin-gston?
In a sense, yeah. But funnily enough, I kind of did think that because, you know, as an artist, I felt like it would be better for my career to be in like New York. But now, ironically, the best performing content that I make is in Jamaica. So Jamaica would actually be the best place for me to be now, which is why I've been kind of spending more time there.
Oh, that's cool.
Right now, I'm trying to live, you know, sort of kind of halfway in between Kingston and New York.
That's cool.
I don't want to give up New York because I love it here.
Yeah, of course.
But it's cool to be able to go back home a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take me through like the content journey. Like COVID happens, you start making like food reviews. They're not really performing well. You don't really like doing them.
No, I like doing it.
Oh, really?
My like secret dream is to be like a food content creator.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But, you know,
Like what's that
that's
dude?
not my thing.
Keith Lee. Have you seen that dude?
No.
He's awesome. He seems like the nicest dude in the world. Like he seems so cool. But literally he just like is insanely TikTok famous of just like reviewing restaurants.
Yeah.
And like reviewing different food products. And he'll just like go on and be like, "What's up, guys? Today I went to like Joey's Chicken and Waffles here in Atlanta. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Excellent." He like shows him eating it. He's just like a regular dude.
Yeah.
And every single restaurant that he reviews within 24 hours, you can't get a seat.
Damn.
Like,
I've probably seen him.
dude, it's insane.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's like
He like
such a
sold
cool
out like
thing.
this like little like mom and pop business. Like this woman made like chocolates or something, and she's like, "This woman sent me chocolates. I'm gonna review them. Like all my reviews, I'm gonna be honest. If I don't like it, I'll be honest about it." And he takes a bite. He's like, "This is amazing." And she was sold out like inventory for like a year.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
So he also has the power to really fuck over business if he doesn't like it.
Yeah, but it's like, yo, make better shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna send him something, like, stand on business. Be like, yo, this is my shit. Like,
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that he keeps it real.
100%.
If you see a food creator that loves everything, it's like, bro, you're just saying that because they're giving it to you for free.
Yeah, exactly, right? I don't know. That's a tough job, though. I wouldn't want to be a critic, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. People spend too much time working on stuff for me just to be like, hated it.
Yeah.
Like someone has to do it. I do respect
Yeah.
people that do it. And I actually talked to a music critic that had a great perspective on it, where he's like, look, my audience, it was actually more prevalent back in the day. But like even with food now, it's like, okay, the people that listen to my food critic blog or whatever, they have 2 nights a week they can go out. Maybe less. Maybe some people don't have the money where they're like, yo, I only go have a nice dinner with my wife once a month. I need to make sure the place I go is worth my time.
Yeah.
And it's like you need someone that's going out and trying places to like really put in a good word for the place that's worth spending your time. So you have a service to your audience to say, yo, this is the places that you should go. And that's valuable. And like it's really helping people that only have 1 night a month because they don't have the money to go out all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that's useful. I don't want to be that guy though. You know what I mean?
Understandable.
But that's cool though, making food content, but it wasn't killing the way you wanted.
Nah, I mean, there's so many people doing it, and I was kind of like half-assing it. We were just kind of fucking around, you know.
And then what were the first pranks you started doing that started to hit?
So when it started out, I was doing more like man in the street interviews. They weren't really pranks. They were kind of pranks because I would kind of set it up like it was a serious interview, and then I would ask, you know, just bullshit questions. And I started doing that originally. Like if you look to the bottom of my page, you'll see they're all like kind of microphone interviews, and those did decent. But then at a certain point, I was like, let me try something new. Let me do a hidden camera thing. So we did a hidden camera thing, and the premise I came up with was saying Kanye lyrics to people. So I just walk up to unexpected people and just say a random Kanye lyric out of context.
Yeah.
And I filmed it, and I was like, I was like, it wasn't that good. But I was like, let me just edit it. I edited it, posted it, and it went crazy. So I was like, damn, I think hidden camera is the way to go.
And at that time, Crazy was like how many views?
500,000, I guess.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with that. And then we just kept doing more of those. And I just started to develop the style and saw what worked and what didn't. And to this day, I'm kind of always trying to do something a little different. I don't want to become like a one-trick pony. A lot of creators, especially prank artists, will like just do the same prank over and over again.
Right. They find something that works.
Yeah. And I get it
around.
because, you know, if it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I just like to keep doing different things, you know. But something that I didn't expect was the Jamaican thing to be so popular.
Is that, would you say, your most popular like series?
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
And that's surprised me because I was going back to Jamaica. I was like, let me film some content while I'm out here. And I thought like, you know, it won't appeal to my like American audience, which was the following I'd built. But like, maybe I can attract like a new Jamaican audience, which I thought would be a smaller audience, but it turned out to be the opposite. Like, I guess there's just a pretty big Jamaican audience, but then also all the Americans who aren't Jamaican really liked it. And yeah, it's awesome to realize that, but it did surprise me. And now the #1 comment I get is more Jamaican content.
So you didn't go into it being like, yo, I'm a white dude that speaks patois. That's going to be funny. So let me talk to Jamaicans in patois. It was like, I'm going back to my home country. I'm going back to my home. I'm going to speak to my countrymen and the people I grew up with in the language and dialect that is most common to me and have like a funny story to tell them.
Yeah. And I thought it would just be like for the Jamaicans and just Jamaican people would watch it. But surprisingly, it was popular internationally. And I think one of the reasons is the subtitles, the captions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, essential.
Yeah, because people realize like, wait, I can understand patois as long as I see it written. Because I don't translate it. I just write it for the most part.
Yeah. Like if you're saying girls, like you're writing like galdem. Like you're spelling it the way you're saying it.
Yeah. Or I'll spell it the way like, for example, like in my recent video, I asked somebody to thief something for me. Thief is to steal. It's thief. Yeah. It's the word thief.
And it's spelled thief.
It's spelled, I mean, like I said, patois isn't a written language, so there's no way to spell it. But if you were going to spell it, you would do T-E-E-F. But some people might not realize what that is. So I spelled it the way it's supposed to be spelled, thief. But I'm saying thief. And people realize, oh, I know what they're saying. And when you see it written out, it makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and forth? You're like, yo, I should make it more clear for non-Jamaican audiences.
I didn't think about it at first, but it just kind of worked out that there was, when I did the first one, I was like, how do I do these subtitles? Do I write it in just pure patois how I would expect, or should I make it a little more understandable, or should I translate it? And I think I found a balance. And I think it's cool to be able to like introduce, you know, non-Jamaican audiences to that kind of style of speaking.
Yeah. And it's so interesting too, like, because you're not just speaking patois, you have a game. It's like, yo, let me tell you a joke that doesn't make sense, and then you explain it.
Yeah.
Or like, let me tell you a crazy story that is like insane to a stranger.
Yeah.
Like there is a thing to it beyond just.
Yeah. I don't want it to be the whole gimmick is, oh, look, a white person speaking patois. That's just happens to be where I'm in Jamaica, and that just happens to be how I'm going to talk.
Right. Because
There should be a joke within itself that just happens to be in patois.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's not the same thing, but like impressionist comedians, like a lot of people think impressions are just doing the voice. But the correct way to do impressions is to do the voice, but have an excellent joke in the voice.
Exactly.
So like just doing a Donald Trump impression isn't that funny.
Right.
But you do a Donald Trump impression with an awesome joke about Trump, then it's like, oh, now you're doing impression work. Exactly. But like you'll see people at open mics that have actually decent impressions, but they don't have the jokes to back it up.
Right.
And then you go, and they'll be like, dude, it's not clicking, it's not hitting the way that these other guys joke. It's like, yeah, but you're just doing the voice gimmick. Like you need the punchlines. And that's what your shit is. Like you have like funny stories. Like, bro, the monkey from the zoo shit, that might be my favorite one.
Thank you.
That one is like, it's just so funny. The way the dude reacts, a monkey? Bro, it's so good. But again, like the thing that hooks people, because like you only have a couple seconds to stop someone from scrolling. The thing that hooks them is, oh, this is unique. A white guy that's like speaking with full confidence in patois. And then there's a fire joke behind it. Out of here. You know what I mean? Like it's perfect. And I just think that like the content was so strong. And it's cool that you didn't really expect it to be that good. Because like in hindsight, you're like, oh, this is amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just sort of worked out. Yeah, I'm grateful that people share the same appreciation for like Jamaican humor that I do. You know?
Yeah. And now you're getting feedback from everyone, like from all over the world. And non-Jamaicans love it. And I'm sure most Jamaicans probably like it.
Yeah.
Are you ever getting negative feedback from Jamaicans?
A little bit. Surprisingly, I feel like the amount of negative feedback I get in general is pretty low. Especially on the Jamaican videos.
Yeah.
I feel like when I get negative feedback, it's usually if I'm doing something a little mean.
Sure.
Which I don't like to do mean things, but occasionally I do kind of cross that line. And that's what people get upset about. When I first started doing Jamaican stuff, there was a little pushback from like mostly Americans being like, this is racist, like this is cultural appropriation. But then when people kind of started to realize I actually was Jamaican, then that kind of stopped.
But was that annoying for you at the beginning? Like being like, bro, how do I appropriate my own culture?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean? Like,
yeah. And I said that, so I was like, how the fuck do you appropriate your own culture? But I mean, I expected it, and you can't take internet comments too seriously because people will find a reason to be offended by everything.
Yeah, of course.
And also, in a way, it helps, you know, with the algorithm controversy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it makes sense. And so what has been like some of the worst reactions to the pranks you've done in real life?
There's been very few bad reactions.
Yeah.
And I think the way I go about making my pranks, I'm pretty like friendly with people in general, and I never try to be like confrontational or like too mean. Even if sometimes it might look like in the videos like it was like confrontational, but it usually isn't like that, you know? And afterwards I'll like explain to them, and everyone's been pretty cool. There's been like 1 or 2 times when people got mad.
And most of the time the joke is on you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like almost all of it is like, I'm going to say something regular and then I'm going to insert a stupid thing about myself that's non sequitur.
Yeah.
And if they don't catch it, like that's like no one's hurt there. And if they do catch it, most of the time they laugh at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
I'm trying
you
to
are
clown
the butt of the
myself.
joke.
I'm not trying to clown anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an important thing to me that I don't like, it's not lost on me that it's fucked up to like interact with people who don't know they're being filmed and posted online. So I don't want to, you know, make anyone look bad. I don't want to like embarrass anybody. I don't want to be a bully, you know? Because I know some pages do that kind of shit, and their pranks are kind of mean-spirited. And even though maybe sometimes my stuff does play with the line, like the people involved are usually, you know, more than happy to allow me to use the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, do you ever have people after a video goes up comment and be like, bro, that's me. This is so funny.
Now every time.
Really?
Every video like will eventually get back to whoever was in it. Because it doesn't take that many people for someone to like, oh, I know that.
Yeah,
Send
of
it to
course.
them, you know?
Especially in New York.
Yeah. And a funny thing is, one of the few times somebody got mad, I ended up posting the video and they were like, oh my God, that's me. This was so funny. So I think in retrospect, they actually like did enjoy it.
That's
but
so
they just
funny.
got mad in the moment because they were kind of like, you don't have permission to film me.
Wait, what
And
was
honestly,
it?
I was fucked up for posting it because they did say, that was when I first started and I was like, fuck it was funny. So I posted it. But I mean, hey, it worked out because she enjoyed it and commented on it.
Yeah. In hindsight, you wouldn't have done that.
No, I realized at a certain point, I was like, it's wrong to film people and post them without them like approving. Even
Yeah.
though it's technically legal,
Yeah.
you know, someone might be just not wanting to be online, you know?
Yeah. That's reasonable.
I get it.
Yeah. Do you ever do that where like you'll do a prank with someone and then like they'll walk away and you'll be like, yo, it's for a video. And they'll be like, oh, okay. Like, do you ever tell them afterwards, like, yo, we're doing this as like a
Yeah,
prank
I try to tell them after every time.
with everyone.
There's been times when I'm not able to.
Yeah,
They walk away and I don't
off
have a
and you
chance.
lose them. Yeah.
And there's been times when I tell them and I'm like, do you mind if I post it? And they'll say no. And I don't post it.
Oh, yeah, they say, I don't want you to post it.
They say, yeah, don't post it.
Gotcha. And then you're like, all right.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Because you can get more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how long does it take you to film in order to get the reaction you want or the response you want from someone?
I'm pretty streamlined with it. I usually don't film for more than like 45 minutes,
Really?
sometimes an hour of film. I have an idea in my head of what I want to do, and I'll just kind of run it over and over until I get a reaction that I like. There's a lot of footage that I don't post. I'll like, basically, if I go out to film, I'll have a joke or an idea, and I'll do it over and over again, and then just take either the best one reaction or like the best 3 reactions and put that in the video. So yeah.
Have you ever had an idea for a concept, like for a joke or for a prank that you thought was going to slap and then you did it and you're like, oh, the reactions are not what I wanted?
Of course.
Can you remember one?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
You go out there and film for 40 minutes. You're like, this is not going to
working.
happen.
This
This,
ain't working,
yeah.
But then sometimes I'll feel that way, and then I edit it and post it, and it does well. So you never really know.
Yeah.
And there's been times where like Schulz was saying one of the favorite ones was when I was like singing to someone, and I was like, I almost didn't post that. Like my girlfriend convinced me to post it because I was like, this ain't funny. But I was just being overly critical of myself.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I guess how many times do you film and look at it and you're like, I don't really like it?
Every now and then. I think I've sort of gotten to a point where I know what I want to do. So like I have the idea in my head and I execute it pretty well and it usually works out.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when, you know, certain takes will suck and I just won't post them.
And do you get nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you do it? Like, you're naturally a shy person, as you mentioned, like
Mm-hmm.
naturally pretty introverted, would you say?
I guess I'm medium. I can be introverted at
Yeah.
times. Sometimes I'm.
What do you
more
call it
open.
if you're both, like bisexual?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, like if you're like, I guess if you're not the most naturally extroverted person,
Yeah.
the idea of going up and talking to someone in a character or like singing to someone is insane.
Yeah.
So like, how do you deal with the anxiety of that?
You just go for it. It's like I feel nervous, but you just do it anyway. You know.
Mhm.
It's like you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And depending on what the thing is, I'll be either nervous or I won't, depending what area I'm in. The more I do it, the less it kind of phases me. But definitely, like, there's always a little bit of anxiety going into it where it's like, fuck. Especially, like, it's like, I never wake up, like, in the morning, like, yo, I'm psyched to go talk to strangers. I always am, like, kind of dreading it.
Yeah, it's a little nerve wracking.
Yeah.
And are certain videos got to be more nerve wracking than others?
Yeah. Funny enough, one of the ones I remember where I was really nervous was I did this one where it was called Oversharing with Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I told this woman, I was like, hey, do you mind holding my coffee? Just like to hold her captive. So she holds my coffee. I'm like fixing my bag. And I start telling her about like my wife divorcing me. Just a very like intimate story. And it wouldn't seem that like nerve-wracking compared to some of the other stuff, but that one just made me really nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna really just embarrass myself to a stranger, and it was just so cringy.
Yeah.
I really just had to subject myself to the cringe.
That's it. I'm so curious about this, like the idea of cringe comedy. Like, it's something I find extremely funny.
Same.
I don't know, like, Nathan, for you, have you seen the show?
He's one of the goats, bro. He's
Is
a genius.
probably my favorite show ever. Like, I was raised on like The Office, so like obviously that is like extremely like cringe comedy, whatever. But I'm interested by this idea. Schultz kind of has this perspective that like cringe comedy, quote unquote, is like a younger, like Gen Z style of comedy. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you think that's true. Have you thought about that at all?
I think it is true. I don't know why, but maybe I do feel like younger generations, millennial and Gen Z, are more socially awkward for whatever reason. Maybe we spend too much time on our phones and shit. But cringe comedy really does appeal to our generation. I've spent many hours on YouTube just searching cringe compilations.
Yeah.
There's something about it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Like, Schultz will always point out this thing, and I don't want to misrepresent his position, but like I understood it to be like older generations, like classic comedies, there was a dude trying to be funny.
Right.
Like Jim Carrey was going to be wacky, and that was going to be funny because he's so silly and so crazy.
Yeah.
And as time went on, the idea of someone trying to be funny became less funny. And then the thing that was the funniest was someone not trying to be funny. And so like, you know, a person giving a speech and getting nervous and fucking up all the words and then trying to save it and then having a meltdown in front of everyone is cringy. And then that became what is the funniest thing because it is the antithesis of trying.
Yep.
There's no effort to make someone laugh. It's actually the opposite of trying to make someone laugh. It's like embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it's through that like mutual embarrassment, shared embarrassment, that is the funniest thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm just like so fascinated by this idea. Like I laugh when things are dark.
Yeah, I like dark humor too.
You know what I mean? Like when things are awkward, when things are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I laugh. And I'm curious if that's more common with Gen Z. I feel like that's a thing everyone kind of does.
Well, what you said about comedy, that kind of applies to all art forms, where whatever is the popular mainstream form of art, a counterculture will arise that kind of does the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. And then that becomes popular, and it's a cycle. Mm-hmm. It happens in like the fine art world and art history, and it happens in music. And I think that's kind of like how like mumble rap came about. Rap was like all about being lyrical and sophisticated and conscious.
Yeah, fuck the lyrics. Let's just be
and then it was
vibe.
like, fuck that. Let's just like barely say words, and then that became cool. Mm-hmm. And who knows? Maybe the next step is like, okay, now mumble rap's not cool. Let's like be sophisticated in our rhyme schemes again. Who knows? But it's always like whatever is cool becomes not cool, so you have to be not cool to be cool. Yeah. That's just like how art works.
Yeah.
You know?
And culture shifts that way.
Yeah.
Just in general. So seeing comedy do that as well is just so interesting because I don't even think about what I think is funny. I just think it's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then having someone from like a generation before me kind of analyzing and being like, yo, I hate cringe comedy. I hate when things are awkward.
Yeah.
I want someone to be trying to be funny, especially within the stand-up world, because stand-up is obviously someone trying to be funny. And I like my stand-up to be that way, but I like other types of comedy to be subversive and kind of awkward.
Yeah.
In the way like, you know, Nathan for you is, or, you know, a lot of your content as well. Like it is awkward. There is a built-in tension between you and the stranger. And that is so funny to me. And
there's also this like concept of like anti-humor, which like Gen Z is like very good at, where it's like the joke is that it's not funny.
Right.
And it's big in memes. I'm super into memes. Yeah. Like I'm almost a meme expert, the amount of time I've spent looking at memes. And I know like all the history of it. And Gen Z memes are the best. Like they're surreal. They're like
deep fried.
Like whatever you expect to be like kind of funny, they just do the opposite. And that makes it funny. Yeah. Like I've seen those memes where it's like Gen Z humor would be like, and then it'll just be a piece of toast falling. Yeah. And then you're like, is this funny? And then you'll show a Gen Z person, they're like, it's kind of funny. Yeah. And you're like, what's funny about it? And they're like, surprise, I guess, that it's not funny. The fact that it annoys you that it's funny. Yeah, like exactly. I do kind of like the cultural rebelliousness around Gen Z like humor, because like your parents will be like, yo, this shit is stupid. And you're like, they can't comprehend
you
it.
think it's stupid? I think it's funnier.
Yeah.
The more stupid you think it is, the funnier I'm gonna think it is.
Exactly.
Because I'm not like you.
Yeah.
Like it is a form of rebellion in a way.
That's why rock and roll became popular.
Yeah.
You know? The parents thought it was fucking demonic, so the kids were like, "This is awesome."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you want Gen Z humor to die, if you're an older person, you need to start sharing all those memes just
real.
immediately. Just like a penguin with shoes on, be like, "This is the funniest shit ever."
For real.
And then every Gen Z would just be like, "I'm good, no more."
Once Gen Z humor becomes boomer humor, it's
And
over.
the quicker that boomers just take it over, the sooner it'll end.
Boomers will kill any trend. Like that's how every social media dies.
Oh God, dude, it's so bad.
Like first Facebook was for kids, and then when boomers and parents got on it, then it's like, oh, fuck that. Nobody uses that anymore.
Like how long until like your mom gets a TikTok and it's just posting like funny memes,
Exactly.
like Gen Z, or like boomer memes. You know what I mean?
It's inevitable.
But then I get weirdly into boomer memes where I'll just like see some like old dude with like his profile picture is just an American flag, or it's like him like in a truck with glasses on, just like that's the whole profile picture.
Because now boomer memes have become funny, ironically,
because they're not funny.
Because they're not funny. So it's a crazy like meta, just like cycle.
Bro.
It just gets deeper and deeper.
It's wild.
That's
But,
why I
like,
love memes. It's just like there's so many layers to it.
and it happens quick.
Yeah.
It happens very quick.
Do you know knowyourmeme.com?
Yeah, of course.
I love going on there and just like Wikipedia. I'm just studying the history
Getting
of
the
memes.
history of it.
And funny enough, since now there's so much like marketing and advertising potential in memes, I feel like it's a genuine like career path to study memes, become like a memeologist.
I mean, look at all these like meme pages that are just like actual media companies now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Fuck Jerry's and like Fat Jew and all this. Like these are massive media companies built on meme pages. It's crazy. And the fact that it's an entire industry. And then eventually having someone that knows the history of all of it that can like consult.
Yeah.
Be worth something.
Definitely.
It's crazy to see.
They should teach it in schools.
Right, dude?
Yeah.
They got to teach patois. They got to teach memes.
And AI.
And AI all together, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, so you start making all the Jamaican content specifically. It goes crazy. People love it. But now are you like, oh, I don't want to get boxed in by it? Or are you like, oh, I'll go like balls deep and start making like full on series about this?
I mean, I'm happy to keep exploring it as long as people are down to watch, you know?
Like, would you ever make like non-sketch or non-prank content? Like at this point, you have such an interesting like perspective and you were such an interesting cultural liaison with Jamaica and with this culture that not a lot of people around the world get an opportunity to really enjoy. You could just make straight up like, yo, here's what it's like living in Jamaica type shit.
Like vlogs?
It could be vloggy, like it could
documentary
even, it could be sketch, like it could be like, you know, like vlog plus sketches in between.
Yeah.
Like, yo, here's my day working on a video. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's so much that people would like to know about what it's actually like. Like, so much of the reason why I'm excited to speak with you is like, I want to learn about what Jamaica is like, especially through the lens of, you know, someone like you that's lived in a lot of places that can explain it to me, you know?
I've had ideas about like little like documentary shorts about just certain things in Jamaica that I think are interesting and that people would like to hear about.
There's probably even stuff you can learn, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like there's
for
probably
sure.
aspects of Jamaica that you're not familiar with that you can get the chance to be like, yo, I'm going to go live on a ranch because like I never like lived on a farm in Jamaica and like, let's go see what that's about.
It definitely interests me. And I've thought about like the idea of like video journalism. And I think that's a cool concept. Whether I'll get around to doing that, who knows?
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good idea.
And are you able to turn the videos now into cash and like financially has it become like a way to support yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've been able to monetize it as well as I could have. Like I'm like an artist through and through and my business sense is not the best. But like I was telling you earlier, I quit my bartending job like 3 months ago and started doing it full time. So just to be at that, you know, benchmark is like huge for me. And just to be able to pay the bills by doing content, I'm happy, but I'm not super focused on cashing in as much as just making good content. And I just feel like, you know, the money will come eventually.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've been talking to certain people who want to help out on that side of things. But, you know, we'll see where it goes. Money isn't my, like, motivation. I'm not doing this just to make money. Like, I just want to create things that people enjoy and hopefully that'll pay out.
Do you think it'll expand beyond pranks?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you think it'll flow if you could like write it?
I want to do a lot of things. I like making, visual art. I like making music. I want to maybe do something still comedy related, but not social media, whether it's, in TV or even movies. I think about those things, who knows when that or if that will ever pan out. But there's a lot of different avenues that I would like to explore. And right now, people are enjoying the short form stuff, and I'm enjoying doing it, so I'll still do that. But I've been talking to some people about some potential other things that we could do that are a little bit more legit. Something with a little bit of a budget behind it.
And how frequently are you posting right now?
About once a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that probably takes like a couple hours a week to do, but it's not like full time.
Yeah, I don't spend like 40 hours a week doing content. I have a lot of free time. If I'm being honest.
And you work on
That's why I'm just always playing with AI.
Work on art stuff, play with AI,
Yeah.
hang with your girl, shit like that.
Yeah, but like, I'm brand new to not having to work to pay my bills, so I'm enjoying it a little bit,
Yeah. It's a weird feeling, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, like, I remember I came back from Jamaica and I'd quit my job before going to Jamaica, kind of took a little vacation, came back and was like, for the first time in my life, I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have school. I don't have a job. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And it was kind of a cool feeling.
What an insane way to feel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that must be so liberating. Like, I could, whatever I want to do today.
Yeah.
I could take the day off. I could go travel.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Obviously, I still need to, make enough content to get the views to pay rent. But still, it was like, it's cool to not have to answer to anyone. Be your own boss.
Yeah. Which
Just
I
be
guess.
like a girl boss.
Yeah, you're a little girl boss, dude. Look at you. That's also like the goal, not the goal, but like a perk of being an artist in general.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, I get to express myself, and the compensation for expressing myself is that I don't have to have a boss, have a 9 to 5, be at the office in a tie. Like, you're able to escape the matrix a little bit.
Exactly.
And just the opportunity to escape the matrix. Like, I even look at like what I'm doing, like with, flagrant stand-up stuff, this show, it's a lot of work and I'm constantly doing stuff, but I'm like, it's not, working a 9 to 5. It's not, doing a job I don't love. And for that, I'm always grateful.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how hard the work gets or like how busy it gets, I'm like, you can't complain. Because this is insane that I get the opportunity to do something I really enjoy.
And can I ask you something about that?
Yeah.
Because it's like so dope what you guys are doing, and also how you like. One thing I respect about, especially the comedian space with the podcast, how you guys all network and hang out with each other. Is it just like really dope to be able to do a podcast where you just talk to like probably a lot of people that you're big fans of too? Like you have such amazing guests.
Well, like
on Flagrant.
Yeah, like with Flagrant, it's cool because you get the opportunity to just like hang with the boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I literally get to sit across from like two of the best comics in the world, like in Schultz and Akash. And then like Alex, for not being a stand-up comedian, is like insanely funny. And also not even really coming from like an entertainment background. Like, Alex came from like production background.
Right.
But is just so quick and so funny that he's able to like hang with some of the best comics in the world. Like, even if there's no guest, just the chance to like hang with the boys for fun and get like paid to do it is just like truly, like, I couldn't have fathomed that would be my life. And I'm like so grateful just for the chance every day. Even when it sucks and like, yeah, we got to turn the episode around in 2 hours and like we got to work on this thing, like this, that, the third. It's never not awesome. Yeah. And it's important to keep that perspective for anyone that's like in it for a long time. Is like, bro, like I always tell people, it's like, you're on a yacht. You know what I mean? Yeah. And even when it rains on a yacht, or even like when the waves are kind of choppy and the sea's annoying and you get a little seasick, you're still on a yacht. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to rain, you might as well be on a yacht while it rains. Like, it's always awesome. It's like, I'm so grateful. And then even with this show, like, just the opportunity to be able to like see your content and be like, yo, this dude is super funny. I enjoy the stuff he makes. And to sit across from him for like a couple hours and just talk and like learn his process, learn how he grew up, like how he started creating this is like so fulfilling for me. Yeah. I would do this if no one watched. I would do this for free. It's just hard to drop 3 hours into my week normally. So I'm like, I might as well democratize it, give it to everyone.
Right.
But I would be lying if I said I was like, I'm only doing this for like other people. Like I do this because I really enjoyed connecting with other human beings.
And it's a different tone from Flagrant, where like Flagrant's just like fun and everyone's talking. But this, I've noticed you get like more insightful. And, like really like get to know someone. And
dude, I'm just so fascinated by like human beings and the way human beings are. Like just the chance to like really get inside someone's head and like learn the process.
You're a really good interviewer.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, like the questions you ask are obviously very thoughtful. And I noticed it watching, you know, your podcast, but like also being here, like I can tell. I don't know if you just freestyle it, but like
well,
things that you said to me are things that like I haven't even thought about sometime, but are like, you know.
So that's
really
how you know it's bullshit. It's like you're like, you're saying things to me that are not true.
Shit up.
No, I appreciate you saying that, man. But like that's the beauty of this show. Like, and the only real reason why like I want this show to grow, like and get more views, like get more of a community, yada yada, is like one, it's cool to be a part of an awesome community of people that are like, you know, open-minded, non-judgmental, curious, wanting to enrich themselves and learn. Like the people that listen to this show generally are that. But it's just really cool to get the chance to talk to more and more interesting people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as the show grows, it's like, oh, I get the chance to sit down with like Elon Musk one day. Like, how crazy would that be? Or like sit down with Keanu Reeves. Like, if this show gets to, you know, 10 million subscribers or like 1 million views an episode, the opportunity to get Keanu Reeves is on the table.
Yeah.
And that would just be so cool. So like the only real reason I want the show to grow, it's not for like money or any of the other shit. Like I'm fortunate that I get to make money through Flagrant. It's just a chance to talk with cooler people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like just to have access to more people is awesome.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. That's the way I am. Like I'm always the dude, like if I get an Uber, I want to know what's going on.
You're talking like if you get an Uber pool, you're talking to the random.
Talking to people around me. If I get into a regular Uber, just me and the dude.
That's cool. I'm headphones in, just listening.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I see the flag. I'm like, oh, Honduras. Are you from Tegucigalpa? They're like, no, San Pedro Sula. And I'm like, no way. I went to San Pedro Sula. And then I just want to know, like, how did you get here? What did you leave behind? Like, especially in America, bro. Like, everyone that came here left something.
Yeah.
Like, there's like I'm sitting in a car with a dude that took an insane sacrifice and leap of faith.
Yeah.
And to not ask about it is like a disservice to the shit he went through. Like, that's so crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fascinated. So every person that sits down, I'm like, I just need to know.
It's true. And I do believe that there's something you can learn from every single person.
A million %. And I'm always curious, what is that thing?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people say that where they're like, oh, yeah, you can learn something from everyone. But I'm genuinely like, I wonder what this guy can teach me.
It's like fun to find out like what this person knows
what it
about.
is. And I'll go down a path and like they'll start talking about comedy. And I'm like, I don't know if they'll teach me about stand-up comedy. Maybe, but like I know a lot about it. And probably more than most people. So I don't know if they'll teach me about that. And then I'll just veer the convo somewhere else.
Right.
And then they'll be like, dude, I love horror movies. And I'm like, I never watch horror movies.
Right.
What's the best one? And then they'll start telling me about yada yada. And I'm like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Would you ever do like what like Theo Von does, where he'll interview like notable people, but then he'll also interview just like regular people, like blue collar workers or
100%.
I think that's a super cool idea.
Yeah. I love that.
Like, you know, let's say you just go to the deli and you meet a dude who's cool in there. And you're like, yo, you want to come on the podcast?
Yeah.
Talk to him.
1,000,000%. I would be totally down. That's actually one of those things that like, again, gets easier to do the bigger you get.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people that have regular jobs, going on a podcast like this is just potential risk.
True.
You know what I mean? So like, okay, hypothetically, I'm a coroner. Like Theo had a coroner on his show, which was like awesome. But you're a coroner, you have a professional job, you make good money from the city, like looking at dead bodies. And then if you go on a podcast with a comedian and he starts asking you questions and let's say he's a dickhead and he's like going to spring a conversation on you that you're not ready to have. He's like, Israel, Palestine, what do you got to say? And you're like, what? I look at dead bodies, bro. I don't have an opinion on this. And then all of a sudden now he's caught up and then he loses his job.
Exactly.
Or even if he says something on accident. What if he just makes a comment and uses the wrong words and then his job is like, what are you doing? So it's just all potential risk. But if you have a big enough platform, you can go to them and be like, hey, look, I have a track record. I've done 500 episodes. The way Theo's done, where he's like, yo, I'm one of the biggest comics in the world. You can trust me. That is ultimately what I want.
I also think it's really cool what you did before the podcast, where you're like, if there's anything you didn't like or you want to cut, you can let me know. And
that's the other thing is
that's
like,
super cool. And I feel like there wasn't anything except the me not getting any girls. We can
I'm putting that at the beginning.
Yeah, put that right.
We're amplifying that.
All right.
Because that's the other part of it is like, I just want it to be a like full free expression. I want everyone to be able to come on and like feel completely free in what they want to share. And on top of that, like I do view it as collaborative. Like this is you and me dancing, doing an art project together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so being able to like share your story, share other stories, like explore ideas together, like it is completely collaborative. Like I on some Rasta shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So like being able to do that is cool. So by you saying something that you feel uncomfortable with, I don't benefit from that. You're my teammate right now.
Yeah.
So if you say something, you're like, yo, I want to cut that out. It's out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I'm not in the interest of exposing people or doing gotcha shit. Like it's not.
Yeah, I respect that.
It's not fun for me. Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? I'm in this to like explore humanity and like meet people.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to like hurt someone's reputation. I would feel so bad.
I respect that integrity because a lot of people like that easy click, you know, of just some.
There's clicks. There's ways that like this conversation can be packaged to be interesting and be borderline clickbaity, where people are like, "Oh, I want to hear about that." But to me, it's only clickbait if it doesn't follow through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I'll package the conversation in a way that's the most interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like mislead the audience intentionally in order to like get clicks, or I'm not going to mislead the guest in a way in order to aggrandize a story to, you know, pump clicks or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't fuck with that. With that being said, do you like Bob Marley? That's gonna be the title.
I love Bob Marley.
We're gonna edit that out. It's just gonna be Sidequestz Jamaican hates Bob Marley.
Sidequestz hates Bob Marley. Yeah. It's interesting because I was reading this thing on Reddit where some people were saying like Bob Marley's overrated and the only reason he got to that status was because of Chris Blackwell, who was like his not his manager, but I guess his producer, whatever he was, his agent, kind of pushed him to American audiences. And people are saying it's because he was like more watered down. But I completely disagree with that. I know you're going to cut out the first part and make me say that. But no,
Yeah,
Bob
exactly.
Marley is the fucking GOAT, bro. I love Bob Marley and I love his whole family. I think they're some of the greatest artists of all time.
I mean, I think it's objectively true. If you've ever traveled, play Bob Marley anywhere in the world. It cuts through everything. That's like what I was saying before, like on some reptile shit. Like his music permeates every culture. We were in London 3 weeks ago in a stadium of people, and they played like No Woman, No Cry, whatever. Everyone sang along. This guy, unfortunately, has passed away probably like what, 40 years ago? 30 years ago? I don't even know when he died.
Bob Marley?
Yeah. Like mad long ago.
It would have been in the 80s, I think.
So let's say 30, 40 years. So this guy passed away 30, 40 years ago. He was from a small island, you know what I mean? Like remote, like not even connected to London. I guess obviously there's a London connection, but like the fact that every single person knew the song from that long ago and knew every word, all singing in unison. I'm like, bro, that's legacy. Like you can't doubt.
He's iconic as fuck.
You can't doubt the power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also half white.
He is half white.
Not a lot of people talk about that. So I consider him the greatest white musician ever.
Yeah.
We
were talking about earlier about white people not having swag, but he's representing for the whiteys.
That's my point, bro,
Yeah.
right? Like that's like he is he's like Obama, same vibe.
Obama's one of the greatest white politicians.
That's actually, I tried doing a joke about that. I couldn't really figure it out, but like if Obama ran for president of Kenya, hypothetically, he would be Kenya's first white president. Like that's so funny to me. Like how transferable races, you know what I mean? Like it's so subjective.
I mean, he is white, you know.
He's black in America, but in an all black country, he's white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just always think that's so funny. Can you tell me about how you view DMT as art?
Oh, we spoke about that. Were the cameras running when we said that or no?
No, I think they were off.
Now, I was just saying how I had a homie I went to college with, this Mexican dude called Victor, and he changed my perspective about what is and isn't art. Because he got me into the dark net, and he had this little computer called a Raspberry Pi that he would use to get on the dark net. He's like, yeah, bro, we'll buy fucking DMT online and then smoke it, and it'll be a dope art piece. I was like, bro, that's not fucking art. That's just doing drugs. But the more I thought about it, I was like, why can't you view anything really as art? And in terms of DMT specifically, that kind of is a fucking art piece.
How many times have you done
Experiencing
DMT?
that. Only once.
Oh, really?
I want to do it more, but Where the fuck do you get DMT, bro?
It's,
I bought it on the dark web.
Yeah.
I don't have Victor anymore to access it for me.
I mean, now it seems easier to get, right? I've never done it, but I know hella people that have done it, right?
And when I did it the first time, I was like hella nervous. I had to like, I didn't know how to smoke it, so I ended up buying like a meth pipe. And that was weird as hell, like going into the deli and I was trying to like say it without saying meth pipe. I was like, yeah, one of the pipes that's like long with like the bulb at the end. It felt sketchy as hell buying it. And then I put the DMT in the pipe and I was like, I wanted to like test it out, like see how it feels. So I just like inhaled it without lighting it and just inhaled a bunch of dry powder.
Oh God.
And then my hands were shaky, so I spilled some on the carpet. Eventually I got it together and I took like a few big rips, but I didn't really, what do they call it? Like breakthrough. I didn't have the breakthrough experience because I just couldn't hit it hard enough. It was like burning my lungs, tasted like shit. But I had insane visuals, but I want to smoke it again and actually do it for real.
What did you see when you had that first experience?
So my homie was sitting across on the couch, like my roommate at the time. I was like, yo, just come chill with me while I smoke this DMT. He just like trips at me basically. And the dude like put his hand up like this to scratch his head. And I just saw like, you know, like 100 arms, like a fucking like Hindu god, like this Bollywood poster you got here. He basically looked just like that guy on the poster. And it was just trippy. It was like everything was like a kaleidoscope. It was like the most insane visuals, but mentally, I didn't feel high. I felt completely sober and grounded in reality, but visually, everything was insane.
It's kind of cool.
That was my experience.
Interesting. How long did that last? Like a couple minutes?
A couple of minutes, yeah.
Whoa.
Or less.
And you weren't tempted to try it again?
I did want to try it again, but I just never got my hands on any.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you have any?
Not on me, dude.
Where's Joe Rogan when you need him?
I know, dude. I gotta find some, bro. I don't know. I feel like you could probably find it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I haven't
Especially
really
in
been
the art
searching
world.
actively.
You kick it with artists. Like I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to find.
I guess it's just never come up, but I want to do it.
Yeah. But you like LSD.
I love acid, and mushrooms.
Acid and mushrooms.
Yeah.
And you were saying before,
mostly acid though.
you find them to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, acid like just hits you better.
Acid is the one that I've always had good experiences on it. Mushrooms fucks with my stomach a little more. It gives me little tummy aches.
I've heard that.
Acid does too, but not as much. I don't know. I've just had really good experiences on acid. It's like...
What are your best experiences like with acid?
There's just times when you'll be hanging out with friends and you guys are tripping and you're just laughing and everything's just flowing effortlessly. And it's like, this is the happiest I've maybe ever been in my life. I've had many experiences like that. Just chilling in the park with the homies, you know? But then also getting like really insightful and profound like epiphanies, like just out of everyday little interactions that normally you would overlook. But because you're tripping balls, you're looking at things at a different perspective and you're like, wow, this is actually teaching me something.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But I found like, so I've tried to trip solo. You know, I read like Terrence McKenna and he says like, do a heroic dose and like sit in a dark room. That doesn't really work for me.
Really? Have you tried it?
Yeah, well, not in a dark room, but just like tripping by myself, I don't really like it as much. I just like to focus on having fun with my friends. And through that, I feel like I get, you know, positive learning experiences.
Interesting. What is the experience like alone?
Boring. I was a little bored. You know, I went to the park, like took a bunch of acid, listened to like Tame Impala. And it was just like, I'm just sitting here by myself. I don't know.
Just high as shit.
Just high as shit. Like, it was fine. But
you didn't have any type of internal realization where you're like,
no.
Oh, wow.
I was hoping to, but I didn't really get that much from it. But those times when I'll be with my friends not thinking about it, we'll just be laughing, and then I'll just like be like, hold up, like, I just realized something, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then weed, you like are able to smoke pretty regularly, no problem.
Yeah.
But you've had bad experiences.
Yeah, I mean, like with anyone, I feel like sometimes you get a little too high, you know, you feel a little paranoid or awkward. I mean, I can be socially awkward, like most people, and weed can sometimes enhance it. I think the older I get, the less I have experiences like that. Usually when I smoke weed now, it actually makes me more social. It also depends on the strain. I found now that weed is like pretty much illegal in New York, I'm a little more picky about strains.
Yeah.
But weed for me is also very useful just to like, if I've been thinking about something a lot from a sober perspective, it's very helpful to get high and then think about it again. Also, it really helps with like interpersonal relationships where you might be beefing with like a friend or family member or there's tension. or you're angry about some shit, smoke weed, and it's sort of like, at least for me, I realized that it's pointless to be angry or kind of in your feelings about anything like that.
Do you ever experiment with other things like ketamine, anything like that?
I've done a little bit of ketamine. First time I did it was by accident, so it was kind of like...
How on accident?
I was going on a road trip upstate with some random people, and this girl sitting next to me who I didn't really know, like, pulls out like a little baggie and a spoon and is like just like doing bums, and she offers me. So I just assume it's coke.
Of course.
Because, like, you know, why you just kind of assume that's...
You've done blow before. You're like, yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and I feel like ketamine became kind of popular more in recent years, at least in America and New York.
Bro, it's like the thing. I think as like Fent got in the coke, people were like,
exactly. So I didn't know, and I did it, and then I'm like, I said to her, I was like, this coke is like burning my fucking nose. And she's like, oh, that's K. I was like, oh, okay. And then it kind of gave me jelly legs. I really need to take a shit in like, I had to like take a shit in like a random gas station. I had like jelly legs, and I was like, this fucking sucks. But then my homie who loves it, he's like, nah, bro, you got to do it when you're like, you know, in the club, listening to like house music and just vibe with it. And I've done it a little small amounts here and there, but I haven't really got too into it.
Would you ever do ayahuasca?
Yeah. I had a chance when I was younger, but I wasn't really into psychedelics at the time. I was in Bolivia, and somebody offered like, yo, we could do this like ayahuasca excursion. But I'd never done psychedelics at that point. I was like 18, and I was like, wait, I'm just gonna like shit myself and puke. Like, doesn't sound that fun.
Wait, why were you in Bolivia?
I was traveling with some friends. After I finished high school, I like traveled with some homies around South America.
Oh, that's cool. Where'd you go?
Sick. We went to Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia.
Yeah, and this is
on a small budget too. I only had like a couple grand that I saved up, like maybe like $3,000.
Like a month?
6 months.
6 months.
We slummed it. Like we really like slept in like the shittiest places and took buses everywhere. But it was a great experience.
Did it get sketchy?
Not really. I mean, there were times, you know, we got robbed at gunpoint one time.
Yeah, that's pretty sketchy.
Yeah. So that was kind of sketchy, but like it all worked out.
What happened when you got robbed? What's up, guys? We're going to take a break really quick because you need to take the bad out of your habits. Yes, and this is the way you're going to do it with Fume. Fume is an amazing award-winning device right here in my hands. Take a look. It's beautiful. Now, people ask me all the time, like, dude, what is that thing? How does it work? What is this? I'll be honest, it's kind of tough to explain. I'll say, hey, it's flavored air. People go, what does that mean? And I go, hey, try it. And the second they take a puff, they go, oh, I get it. So look, Fume is an amazing award-winning device that is completely natural. It uses flavored air, no harmful chemicals, no vapor. This is what you need if you have a little bit of a fixation, a little bit of a habit orally. You know what I'm saying? So you take this Fume right here, okay? They got a little cartridge on the inside. They have a flavored air packet that's completely safe to breathe. You pop it right in here. You put it inside this award-winning device that clicks, it spins. It's actually very like nice to kind of fidget with. That's the thing I use it for. During the show, I'll literally just kind of like fidget with it because it's like kind of nice for my little whatever I got going on in my brain, probably some type of disability. But it makes me feel good. It lowers my anxiety. And then you take a breath and you immediately get filled with flavored air. I know it sounds bizarre, but it is extremely refreshing. It lowers my anxiety and it makes me stop reaching for those, other things that you might smoke potentially. Those other things that you might breathe into your lungs. Those other harmful chemicals, those other types of vapors that maybe are trying to kill you. Fume wants you to live a long time. That's why I like the good people over at Fume. And interestingly enough, they have helped over 100,000 customers quit their bad habits, if you know what I mean. I'm trying to be a little sneaky because I'm not allowed to say certain words. But if you are interested in kicking your bad habits and having a new fixation that is a habit that isn't bad, you should go to Try Fume. That's TRY, Fume, FUM.com. And use the code Gagnon, Gagnon, to save an additional 10% off your order today. Here's what I want you to do. If you go to Try Fume, again, that's TRYFUM.com, you can check out the Journey Pack. The Journey Pack is going to give you everything that you need to get started on your journey to being more healthy, more health conscious, breathing better, and feeling better because you're no longer filling your body with harmful chemicals, vapors, etc. And instead, you're just filling your body with flavored air. So check out the Journey Pack. That's going to get you started on your journey. And use the code Gagnon. We're going to help you save some money. Let's get back to the show.
we were on a bus in Colombia, and it was like we would take these long ass buses to get around the continent, you know, like 15+ hour buses. And we were on this bus in Colombia, and halfway through, some people, like 3 people on the bus, all sitting in different areas, got up at the same time. One of them had a gun. One of them pulled out a gun, but they were like, yo, we're robbing the bus. One of the dudes was sitting next to me. I was all the way in the back, and he sat down next to me, and I was like, very polite to him. He was like, I'm sitting next to this guy for 15 hours. So I was like, hey, what's up? I speak a little Spanish. So I was like, you know, just being polite to him, and maybe I think I offered him snacks or something. And I like to think we had a little sense of camaraderie, so he didn't rob me. But his homie further down the bus didn't share the same sentiment, and he happily robbed me.
Damn.
But I was smart because a week before, we got stopped by the police, and they found my weed, and I had to pay off the police, and it really scared me because I was like, fuck, bro, I don't want to go to South American prison. So I was like, yo, and I had weed on me on this bus too. So I was like, if that happens again, I was like, yo, I'm going to take all my shit and throw it under the seat. So I already had that idea in my mind. So when they got up, I took all my shit and threw it under the seat. The only thing they really stole from me was my backpack, which had my rhyme book in it, because I was rapping a lot back then. And I was always thinking one day I'm going to see like a Colombian rapper come out spitting all my rhymes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And then you had to keep on traveling for how long? Like after that?
So then they got off the bus. We went to the whole bus went to a police station. We hung around there for a while. I guess the police took a report, and then we got back on the bus and went to the destination.
How do you travel for 6 months on a limited budget? Like, what advice do you have if someone's listening that's like, yo, I want to do that?
I feel like I'm not sure if I could even do it now. Like, I was 18 then, so I had like a lot of more energy and was down to like slum it. But just go with good friends, because if you're in a shitty situation but you're with homies, you can laugh about it. And even those shitty situations like was just funny, and like, you know, you're having a good time.
How did you route it?
One of my homies was like, who's more like responsible, was kind of planning, but we did it by just sort of whatever we were feeling. We'd go to a spot. If we liked it, we'd stay a couple of days. If we didn't like it, we'd leave the next day. We didn't stay anywhere longer than a week, I think. The place we stayed the longest was like Rio de Janeiro, which was sick. We were there for 2 weeks, I think, in Rio.
Wow.
But most places was like 3 days, I think we'd stay.
And then take a bus to the next spot?
Yeah. And a lot of people do that. You bump into a lot of the same people that you saw in a different town in the hostels, because, you know, we're staying at hostels. Honestly, one of the best experiences of my life. I highly recommend it if anyone wants to go traveling. You know, there were sketchy moments, but don't let that deter you. Like, I never, even when they were robbing us on the bus, I didn't really feel like we were in too much danger. Like,
right, you give them the shit.
Give them the shit, and that's it. It was a great time, man.
And how many guys do you go with?
At the start, I think it was like 5 or 6 of us, and then some left along the way. By the end, it was 3 of us.
And where did you meet them from?
These are kids I went to school with.
Where?
In England.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, let's run it up.
Yeah. We graduated, and like, you know, like it's common in England to like a gap year. Like before you go to college, you take a year off. So that's what we did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
It was great, man. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
About life.
You meet any women?
Like I said, I'm not good with girls, so you know.
There's no way, bro. You make these videos where like you're just talking to people, you've risen up chicks in the videos and shit.
It's an act.
There's no way.
All right, I will say now I'm older, I'm a little bit better, but historically I've always been like bad with girls.
Negative
Negative riz.
Come on.
Now I got a little bit +2 riz, but
that's pretty good.
I'll be honest, back when I was traveling in South America when I was 18, my riz was weak.
Low-key, did the videos help with the riz?
No.
Game?
If anything, it's worse.
But like your ability to go talk to women.
Oh, to talk to women?
If you can sing for a Jamaican dude, you could probably like talk to a girl, right?
And I can talk to women. Whether they'll, you know, like me is a different story. But
come on, dude, you got it.
I got the. You think I got the riz?
Bro? 100%.
I got a little hidden riz, but I'm not.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to line, bro?
My go-to line. I don't really have rehearsed lines.
Back when you were single, you know what I mean? But like, let's say
we're not single.
Let's say you see me, just like a little bad little ting up in the club.
Yeah, bad little ting.
Like, what would you say if you were trying to like get me? You know what I mean?
Honestly, I think I'd go for like because I'm not like cool or mysterious, so I think I'd go for a vulnerable angle.
All right, so try it. Go ahead.
Oh, we're gonna do like a little improv.
Just go ahead. Just try it.
This is in New York.
We're gonna do New York, and then we're gonna do Kin-gston right
Okay. Hey, so little mama, how you feeling?
Oh, hey.
I just gotta say I love your curly hair.
Thanks.
You like that?
Gosh, thank you.
Bro, you're making me shy now.
So what's up?
I don't know, man. I feel like,
Okay, for negative risk.
You see,
all right, but what about Patois? I feel like you might be a little better with Jamaican one. Okay, let's try it. Okay.
I think was making it tough is the beard.
Yeah. No, that a lot of guys say that.
All right. Yo, I'm gonna be a bit. What you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, I know. Say, look good. Yo, I'ma come beat up the cervix. See, I went too far. That's the problem. Have I proved now how bad my Riz is?
No, honestly, you're gonna marry a Jamaican woman because the Jamaican Riz was awesome.
The Jamaican Riz was better.
Yeah, that was fire. I enjoyed that a lot. That was really nice, bro. That was got me bricked up after that one.
Really?
Yeah, that was fire, dude.
I'm gonna have to remember that. Write that line down.
All right, rapid fire. There's a
Okay.
couple of things always pressing on my mind. Every person I talk to, I just need to know what you think about these things.
Okay.
You believe in God?
I don't not believe in God.
Probably something.
I'd say I'm agnostic, but I'm very open to the idea of
Just a big Bob Marley in the sky somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
Respect.
that could be God.
You believe in ghosts?
No.
Believe in voodoo?
No.
Believe in aliens?
Yeah.
Believe they're here?
No.
You believe they're out there
Yeah.
somewhere?
Uh-huh.
Favorite movie?
Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Wow, that's a great choice.
Thank
Specifically, Curse of the Black Pearl.
you. Yeah.
Why that one?
It's just the best one.
Best actor of all time.
Maybe Joaquin Phoenix.
Whoa.
I don't know if I have a favorite actor, but he's really, really good.
Yeah, you just recently saw Joker.
Yeah.
It's got to be it, right?
Nah, just in general, he's good. He's one of the best doing it now.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know anything else he's in, I'll be honest, other than Joker.
Yeah.
What else?
He's in Gladiator.
Oh, that's right.
He's in Her.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. He's in The Master, which I don't really like that movie. It's kind of boring, but he's good in it.
Favorite TV show?
Scrubs.
That's a great choice.
Yeah. Scrubs is underrated.
If you wanted to get someone into Scrubs, what episode should they watch? Do you remember a specific one where you're like, yo?
I don't know if there's a specific episode, but maybe like jump into like season 5 is kind of like prime. Like if you don't mind jumping right into the middle of a show.
Yeah.
Because it starts off a little more serious and then it gets more kind of funny.
Yeah. Scrubs is a good choice, dude. Kind of a slept on show, I'll be honest.
It's slept on. And also, what surprised a lot of people, it's known to be like one of the most medically accurate like hospital shows.
Really?
They had like real doctors on the writing team who would they would run everything by just to make sure it was legit.
That's an awesome job.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to be a doctor your parents expected of you, and then you get to just like write on a TV show.
Yeah.
Sort of ideal.
It's sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you weren't an artist and you didn't have to do something creative, what would you do?
That is a good question. Maybe like real estate.
Why real estate?
I don't know. I like looking at kind of cool houses and showing people. It seems kind of chill.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be good at it.
You ever do that? Just like go on like Zillow or like Street Easy?
Yeah.
You don't even need a new spot. You just like
Just look at shit I can't afford.
Just to go look
Yeah.
at it, just to see.
Yeah.
Or like my girl will do this like during like Christmas time. We'll just drive around and go look at lights, but like we'll also try
Yeah.
to like scope out like nice houses just to be like, yo, that
Yeah.
would be sick.
Yeah.
That house is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that. Also, you know what? I think if I wasn't an artist and also if I was a lot less stupid, I could see myself getting into medicine.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
What kind of medicine?
I think I would be just doing like internal medicine, just like a general physician.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Actually, I think surgery I'd be good at.
What kind of surgery?
I don't know, but I just feel like I'd be good at it.
Brain
I'm
surgery?
good with my hands.
Brain surgery.
Brain surgery might be a little stressful.
It's kind of artistry though. There's an artistry in
kind of
surgery
is.
for sure.
Kind of is.
No, I respect that. Who's your favorite artist?
Like visual artist?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know if I have a favorite. I like a lot of contemporary artists
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like, people who they teach you in school.
Like who?
In terms of contemporary artists,
Yeah.
Kehinde Wiley is really sick. George Kondo, he's the one who did the album art for Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
That's cool.
A couple other ones that aren't coming to the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how would you characterize the art that you like?
I don't know. It's one of those things where just kind of like you see it and you like it.
You know it when you
know?
see it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My brother, Gids, young Gids from the block, you're a legend. I appreciate you sharing some rum with me. I appreciate
course,
the
bro.
conversation. We have a limited amount of time on this earth, and you chose to spend a couple hours in my tent.
Hell yeah.
That means
Thank
a
you
lot.
for having me, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, of course, brother.
The vibes here are so good.
Just catching a vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You tune into this show, dude. There's like a 99% chance you're gonna catch a vibe.
Also, I'd like to say what people viewing probably don't know is that it smells really good in here.
I appreciate that.
Like that's
Cedar.
that's the first thing I noticed when I walked here. I was like, wow, it smells good as hell. in here.
Cedar incense, dude. That's the thing. I grew up in Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World. Not land, world. That's the big one. And everything that Walt
Okay.
Disney did, everything was immersive. You can't go into a space without smelling
It's
it.
4D.
You gotta smell it. You gotta
Smell-o-vision.
feel it. You gotta taste it. Every element in the space has to be completely interactive. So that's
'Cause-
something that people sleep on.
Coming from out there in the studio to here was like a portal to a different dimension.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
And there's more work to be done. Eventually, I'll show everyone the whole thing. We got a tree house. We got trees and stuff. Eventually, they'll see the whole thing, but only when it's ready.
Right.
Anyway, kids, I appreciate you. Let's go do this again sometime. Let's do it in Kin-gston.
Okay.
Will you take me?
If I start a podcast, you'll be a guest on it?
I would love
It'll
to.
be in Kin-gston.
Only if it's in Kin-gston. I'll
Okay.
be honest. I'm not going to Bushwick.
No, because I have been thinking about it.
I'll go to
But-
Kin-gston though.
You won't go to fuck Bushwick, bro. I don't even want to go back home there tonight.
I would rather go to Kin-gston than Bushwick. I swear to God.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'd rather go to Jamaica, Queens, than Bushwick. You know what I mean?
That's the next best thing.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, brother, I appreciate you. Let's do this again soon.
Hell yeah, dude.
Peace.